What is your beef? Why do you have such a problem with me?
Can we get the real Andy? I would prefer the real Andy.
Oh, let's get the real Max. I'll take off my mask when you take off your mask, brother.
Because who's your new favorite YouTuber, Ian, that wanted to be on the show with us?
The Madman. The Madman.
Mad Movie Man.
Let's bring on Max Movies because he scares the living shit out of me. Hold on.
Oh, wow.
Mad Max says, I think you should apologize. Right? I'm sitting here in a goddamn torn down pool house.
I don't even know who
the
you
pool
are.
house is torn apart. Okay, it's torn apart because I'm remodeling on my $70 webcam. Okay, I'm no better than you.
Movie Madness Entertainment.
Welcome everyone to the Nail in the Coffin. This is actually my stream, not Max's. Max will probably be going live later tonight with Scoop Wars. So
there.
Oh, okay, yeah. Just get the hammer out. So, hello everybody. If you have been keeping up with anything in the last 24 hours, it's been getting crazy out here. So, kind of gonna be discussing hey, what's up, Nerd? I hope you're doing well. Discussing the aftermath, what actually is going on, what's going on between Ray Fisher and all that stuff, because I'm just keep it real. This ain't good. This is really bad. This is really bad.
Yeah.
This is not something that can be dismissed as, oh, it's nothing. It means nothing. Oh God, this is
this is old information. Just well, it's old information in studio, but it's new information that's public.
Yeah. Oh no, I have my own intro. I have several actually. Hold on, let me play it real quick. Sorry. Got this one too. I have another one too, but I want to play that one. I have my own intros, but they don't really fit this stream. So, Caden, where do you want to start? Because we're kind of like, I feel like everyone knows what the article was about. We covered it over on the stream. We talked about we read the entire thing. I've read the entire thing now twice, both on Matt's stream and on K-Dot's stream. So go check out both of those. But
I've just there's certain parts I've read over and over again that honestly I don't think is healthy to read over and over again. Especially the main part I have issue with. I've main issues with two parts, but mainly this one, as I stated on Matt's stream, as I stated on Twitter, is that as an aspiring director, as a person who wants to be in the business, as a person who looked up to Zack as a director, and as a person who looks like he is a positive person who will, try to be positive as much as he can. And, I look up to other directors, Jordan Peele, whatever. But with this situation especially, you have a fellow director, Adam Wingard, reach out to you via whoever he reached out to you, like his representative, his assistant, whatever. He reached out to you to tell you, hey, can you please tell your fans to back off on review bombing my movie?
And he said no.
No.
He refused to do anything about it. And again, if that is true, I think that's one of the most damning and despicable things in that whole article. I think that actually is very disappointing.
Right. And also for him to say, oh, I don't have enough power to tell my fans to stop doing something. No fucking bullshit. That's fucking bullshit, dude. And you know it. Because you are you can say something and your fans will fucking follow you to the end of their life with it. Like, if that
Mhm.
if this whole Adam Wingard situation is true, and you said that, then fuck you. Because that is like legit egotistical little petty shit. Where you're just like, no, I don't have no control over my fans. When you fucking do, and you know you do. So if this thing is true, fuck you. And fuck your fans, honestly. Because, like, Jesus. Like, and also, it doesn't matter if GVK was a shit film or awesome film. He's, like, he didn't
What I
deserve
find, oh wait, what's up, Casey? And Casey, if you wanna pop on and just reach out to either me or Caden, because I'd love to hear your take on this. As controversial as you might be, right? I'd still love to hear your thoughts on this. But
So,
that
yeah,
is
that's my
that
take
is the
on-
most troubling thing to me in this.
And
that
also, as Brian
just
also
real quick, I
brings
just want to
up,
say this real quick.
as also Brian brings
yeah,
up,
go ahead.
the whole, like, taking the whole footage and keeping it for 4 months, and then just like, oh, we have to reach, you shouldn't have to reach a settlement to give back things that is studio owned. And for him to be, and also, I think I know why W thought that Snyder Cut didn't exist, because they probably didn't have it on file, and they probably were like, oh, it exists, but we're not going to release it, because again, they didn't have it until very last minute. They finally had the drives, and we're like, oh, so it is real, and we can release it. And Jason Keller probably got the bright idea to release it on HBO Max to upstream that. So there's probably some truth to this whole thing about it not existing, and then it's not going to be released. There's probably truth to that, because W probably did believe those things.
Yeah,
Because
real quick though, I find this comment really funny because I'm not a Snyder hater.
I'm not a Snyder hater either.
I love the Snyder Cut. I respect Zack as a filmmaker. I like Ray Fisher, but I have a huge issue with the way both of them have conducted themselves in this situation. And just because I have criticisms of both of these men does not make me any less of a fan. Okay? That is a distinction you're going to find here, where I'm not going to sugarcoat things when I feel that as a fandom, we were manipulated and lied to. Because let's be fair here, I feel like we were. And there's going to be a lot of people jumping around, playing devil's advocate, trying to justify some of these things that are going around. No. In a lot of ways, we were manipulated and lied to. So that's how I feel. And if people disagree with that, that's cool. Okay. That we were manipulated and lied to on several occasions with this. Okay. That is my biggest grievance with all of this. Okay.
Those are the two again.
Well, and
as a
also
person-
again, and the other thing is too that really irked me. Okay, is that potentially, and I just stress this potentially, you have a fellow filmmaker and Adam Wingard reaching out to you saying, dude, we're getting harassed, we're getting review bombed, we're getting this, we're getting that. Can you please call off your fan base? Can you please put out a statement? Can you please say something or do something to counteract this, to at least tell people not to do this, because our film is being impacted by this? And he said no. He said no to a fellow filmmaker in need, asking him to take a stand and to do something about it. And you say no. That to me is just, that's really damning. To me, at least. I think it's really damning. And again, I'm not saying I still don't like Zack, but I've had this issue with Zack for a while where I feel like he believes that he has no culpability or responsibility for anything that his fandom does. And let's be fair here. Caden is right. Zack can go post a picture of a turkey on Thanksgiving and drive up social media engagement. Don't tell me he can't make a simple Twitter post or Vero post decrying something or making a stand against something. okay? Because he can. And that's my number one biggest issue with all of this. That is my number one biggest issue with all of this.
Okay, so I'm seeing some people say some shit that honestly.
Real quick though. Welcome to the show, Casey Walsh, the ever controversial Casey Walsh.
Controversial.
But
What's going on?
Hey, what's up, man?
What are you guys talking about? What's going on today? Anything exciting happen?
You know what? Have you heard of a little no-name director named Zachary Snyder? I don't know if you ever heard of him.
Does he do like commercials or something?
He used to. Then he did some. He did a movie called 300. Then he did a movie called Watchmen. He did a little animated owl movie called Guardians of the Gahul.
Oh,
which I think that's very underrated. I like that owl movie actually.
I did. And also
and real quick, I want to say this. No, CY98.
No.
I can't get rid of Casey Beta. This
but
is my
we can get
stream.
your
You don't like
racist
it, you can get the hell out.
Already,
Yeah.
I've been on it for 2 seconds. Like these people are so like fucking
No,
triggered.
but
It's
the
so
thing
funny.
is that CY98, I know who you are, you know who I am. We have had conversations in the past, and I don't know why you run to Syl, who, well, now I know why, but again, but that's the point. But I see some people talk about the whole, as we brought up the Adam Wingard situation, is that, you know, we have Film Goblin who's saying Adam Wingard should have taken up with Warner Brothers execs, not Snyder. No, but whose fans were attacking Adam? Yeah, he could.
Also, is that really an issue? Is that really an issue you take with film executives, or do you try and talk to the man
Himself.
man to man?
Yeah,
You
what
actually
are
go directly to the
film
source.
executives going to do? That fan base hates them. It's not like they would double down. If Warner Brothers put out a tweet saying stop harassing whatever movie, insert movie here, all that fan base would do is they would just do it more. Like that's
Yeah, they don't
okay.
give a. You guys don't give a fuck of what Warner Brothers execs say. You guys give a fuck of what Zack Snyder says.
Yeah, I think that's what people missed about that.
And again,
article.
and the thing is too, real quick, I have to address this too. I hate the conspiracy theory that's been put out there that they only released Godzilla vs. Kong 13 days after to distract from the Snyder Cut. Like, that's not how things work in reality and in Hollywood. I know a lot of people don't actually know how things work. Sometimes we make assumptions, but they plan these release dates out months in advance. They plan out marketing campaigns months, even years in advance. It's not like, oh, we're going to move this movie purposely here. That way it detracts from this release of this movie. Okay? Like, that's not how things work in reality.
Well, I mean, remember Zack Snyder, the Justice League was supposed to be the flagship, like, thing for HBO Max when it launched. You know what I mean? It was only the pandemic that forced them to put those movies on the system without
right
on the service. Without the pandemic,
that was a brand new thing, and that changed the game because again, that wasn't something they were anticipating. That was a Jason Kilar move too, right? Who actually, it turns out, was probably one of the biggest helpers when it came to the Snyder Cut and getting fans what they wanted, since he fought for it so much. And now he's gone. So.
Oh my goodness! I sorry. This whole situation is just hilarious to me because, like, number one, that article, what everyone took away from that article was the bot thing, which is like the least. Like,
the bot thing is my least of concern. That's the thing I really care about.
That was the old news part with the rap article.
We all knew, like, nobody. It's no secret that whatever your campaign is, whether you're a politician or Snyder fans or whatever, you're using bot accounts. Like, it's just the thing. It's just how much of those bot accounts are using, how much influence those bot accounts have, et cetera, et cetera. Like, that's like, we all know you guys are using bot accounts. That's my main issue too with the fandom right now. Is like, they're all freaking out about, we're not bots. Yeah,
it's also to be fair too, and I will say this is kind of the fault of Rolling Stone just a little bit. They did put the article behind a paywall, so it cuts off right when it gets done talking about the bots.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the problem too, where that's going to be the main focus.
Another point was, and this is a hit piece. This was put out specifically to distract from the whatever's the digital whatever format they're releasing today. It's stupid. It's been like 5 different formats. Y'all, like, calm down. No, it's the opposite. Rolling Stone released it specifically because it was coming out on digital, and they wanted to use that hype to boost up their own article. It had nothing to do.
Oh
with
no,
them
they
trying to
purposely
sink-
released this article for timing
Yeah,
purposes because they knew it would
like-
have a massive impact.
Yeah, if you're like hashtagging shit, like then their article is gonna pop up. That's exactly why they did this. Like they're not stupid. Like they did it for purposely selfish gains. It had nothing to do with the old regime. It's like the fact that these people think that like
Again, if this
studio
was
executives are smart enough and like have all this time to be like plotting all this shit behind the scenes is so hilarious. Like,
Another
okay,
thing is as you mentioned that like they ask a Warner Brothers Discovery a spokesperson. Who is that spokesperson? We don't know who that is, and they say that it was not. This is old stuff I don't need to talk about because it wasn't under the new regime. So they still reached out to Warner Brothers Discovery about this, guys. This is
Yeah, they actually did. They did reach out to Warner Brothers Discovery. Yes,
like it's not, something that they release without their permission or without them knowing. Because if they did, then there's some stuff that needs to be handled first about that. But it was definitely under the radar of WD.
I mean, if anything in this article is blatantly like slander or what's it called when it's written? I know there's a difference between slander and the other thing, but like if it was any of those things, then Snyder could easily sue them and get the article taken down, retracted, or whatever.
That's what I was going to mention too. If this article is that damning, has this many issues, then clearly you could attempt to sue for libel if it's really that much of an issue, right? Here's the other thing too that I don't want people to gloss over too. In the article, Tatiana Siegel reveals that when she wrote an article about Kiersey Clemons returning for The Flash, that she reached out to Zack Snyder, I guess for comment or just as a courtesy, and Zack Snyder said, why am I even quoting it? I can just bring it up. Screw it, because I looked at this thing so many times. I've read this article like so many times, but let me go down here. It is a very long article, but it is worth reading because again, I feel like there's some. Okay, a simple story written about by this reporter about Kiersey Clemons being cast for a Flash in the movie also incurred the wrath of the collective just days before the Snyder Cut release in March 2021. Snyder called me to say he wanted several sentences from the story removed. I'm just telling you what the fans are going to do. Trust me, they are pretty rough, he warned. Sentences stay and the Snyderverse song descended. And that is the kind of mobster, right, kind of mentality that I think is very odd as well.
Well, it's funny. It's funny he says this, he says like my fans, trust me, they can get rough.
Yeah, like trust me, they're pretty rough. Like, you might want to take these out, or else something's gonna happen.
But then it goes back to the Adam Wingard situation, which is mentioned after this. Funny enough, is that he says I can't do anything about my fans because he knows that his fans harass and
so he actually
people.
Does know that his fandom is full of toxic assholes.
He remember that article where he was like, "Oh, it's funny they told Elmo to go fuck himself." Like he's known forever, and this is what we've all been kind of saying. It's like, Zack Snyder he's great with actors. He seems like an all around nice guy in general. But like, there's no doubt that he manipulated and weaponized this fandom against his enemies, whether that be WB executives or whoever. There's no denying that. I think that's the big problem, and that's why, again, too, that's why he's not coming back to WB, guys. This is why he's not coming back. No matter
why the hell would they even want to? Why would the hell
exactly
he want to work with them again? But why would they want to work with him when this is the kind of articles and the kind of things that apparently were going on behind the scenes?
Exactly.
That's something else you got to take into
consideration. Any studio looking at this, and again, they all talk. They're all kind of buddy. Like this idea that all these studios are like villains and like hate each other, and like they all like have lunch together, like they all play golf together, all buddy. Like they all talk. Like you can even say, oh, well, this is the old regime. Guess what? Half of the old regime is still there helping the new regime transition. Like you got like this is bad for Zack Snyder and his reputation.
Oh no, this makes Zack and Ray Fisher look absolutely horrible. But it makes everyone involved, in my opinion, look bad. everybody looks bad. No one got away unscathed. But
Oh, yeah.
especially Zack and Ray Fisher now look even worse. And this is kind of like the other thing that I find really interesting as well. Because we are going to dive into the Ray Fisher thing in just a second. But again, this Adam Wingard thing right here really is upsetting because, again, I find it shocking that Zack on a personal level as a filmmaker would not stand in solidarity and support another filmmaker. That is very shocking to me if this is true. And I find that very troubling that he basically did not want to assume any responsibility or take control of a situation when another filmmaker came to him and asked him to help. So, and that's fine. Thumbs down. I don't really care. I mean, engagement's engagement, right? So.
This again, that's what I'm talking about. No, they don't even want to have
This guy
these
is a
discussions.
shill. Dude, I wish I got paid. Trust me, I could use the money right now.
They don't even want to have these discussions. Like,
No,
again,
of
it
course
comes
not.
up anytime one of these articles comes up. It's like fake news. Just everything about this is wrong. Blah
Yeah.
blah blah. But like,
Hey, and guess what, guys?
they'll-
Real quick, you guys attacking Tatiana Siegel and jumping on when Ray Fisher tagged her on Twitter, and you guys jumping in her mentions, doing all this and that. The way you're acting right now in this chat absolutely proves what that article was talking about in regards to this fandom being manipulated and being this collective and being a weapon, the weaponization of this movement. You guys are proving that right now. That's the thing. That's what you're not realizing. So real quick, I missed the super chat from CJH, Canadian super chat, $2. Thank you, CJH. Did the Snyder Cut originally never exist officially?
Well, like I said before, I think WB generally believed it didn't exist because of Zack having those drives. And then once they found out that Zack had those drives, they were like, oh, he has them. We're going to try to get them back, but if we can't get them back, then we can't release it. But now that they got it back, and they were like, okay, now we can actually work with him and release it. So I generally do believe that. Although, yes, it existed, but WB probably was like, it doesn't exist because we don't have the actual evidence, the actual drives, to like say it exists. So we are going to tell our people that it doesn't because we don't
honestly,
have the drives.
Before it got greenlit, whatever that was, and I don't even know what year it was. That 2019 that we heard about it, I guess. What I think was what happened was that there was, because remember there was like this mandate that needed to be under 2 hours, or they were trying to cut it, right? I don't think that Snyder ever showed anyone at WB at the 4-hour cut that we all saw. I don't think anyone ever saw that at WB until it was like out or they were working on it again. I think whenever they're talking about like the execs saw this cut or they saw this cut, I think that what they're referring to is the much shorter cut that Snyder was mandated to make.
Yeah, real quick, CJ Canadian $2 super
hours.
chat saying, I mean, did Snyder finish an unfinished Snyder Cut? Basically, yes, he got paid about $100 million to finish the Snyder Cut. Yes.
Yeah, which
I think,
boosted
again,
up
there was talk about an assembly cut.
400 or 300 million. Like
yeah,
400 million, and near the end. So this like the people think, oh, Snyder Cut and Justice League, two separate films.
But and this is what we're talking about, though, guys. Where there's some people in this chat promoting like conspiracy theories. Oh, Jeff Johns paid this writer to do this. Jeff Johns put this hit piece out there. He did this. He did that. It's like, no, like. You guys, like, this article took months of preparation, research, reaching out to people.
This article makes Jeff Johns look bad. Like
it makes WB look bad. It makes Zack look bad. It makes everyone in that position look bad.
It looks like a shit show.
Like, it looks like a shit show. Like if an executive can't find a drive, then it's like you have to go through the right areas to find that drive. Clearly they didn't.
Yeah.
And
I'm not making up anything about Adam Wingard, okay?
No.
That's
It's
the thing.
right there.
It's literally right there for you to read. They talk to people involved in the situation. So no one's trying to smear and cancel Zack. What we're talking about is the fact that Zack cannot assume responsibility or wants to take a form of accountability for his fandom and what his fandom does and how they behave. He will not even make the effort or the attempt to try and respond or do something in regards to taking control of it. That is the issue here. Okay. That is
he
my
doubles
issue.
down. What did he do? What did he like? Posted some Mussolini quote today. It's like, what are you doing, dude? Like, what is happening?
Well, I think it was I think it's from like the U.S. Navy. I don't think it's from Mussolini. I think it's from the U.S. Navy.
Sorry, I don't know. Some very like weird quote that I would not. It just double down. It just proves that article more and more.
This is an extremely biased panel. Someone should be here who disagrees with y'all's awful opinions. I mean, you don't have to like what we say. I mean, like,
You just see why
I gave the link to multiple people.
CY98, he doesn't owe you shit either. So like,
yeah, that's the argument I don't get either. It's like Snyder doesn't owe you guys anything. Well, he doesn't owe you,
anyone anything.
He doesn't owe
No
you
one
guys
owes
just like
anyone
2 and 3
anything in this situation. Nobody owes anyone anything in the situation other than clarity on everything. That's the only thing that is owed. Is clarity.
I don't even care. Like if my point is like if you want to know my whole point with this is if you want to know why Zack Snyder doesn't go back to WB, this situation is why. This is the clarity you guys need to see. This is what everyone needs to read. But again, this doesn't shut those people up. Like people are still saying he's coming back to WB. Like, what are you even talking about? Like, why would Snyder leave Netflix, who is by all counts hands off? Like they don't do any. They admittedly themselves don't like mess with filmmakers, to go back into another studio situation where we have to deal with the same bullshit. Regime, regardless whether regimes and whatever people are there, it's going to be the same. All studios kind of run the same. It's going to be the same fucking thing. He's still going to have to get approval. He's still going to have to fucking ask for money. He's still going to have to do all this run through these same fucking hoops. Like, why would he do this? And then why would any studio that he spent 2 years organizing and encouraging a harassment campaign against welcome him back? Regardless of who's in charge. Like, if you want to pretend that everyone that WBDD came in and fired every single person that ever worked at Warner Brothers and replaced them with all brand new people, those brand new people are still going to look back in the situation and be like, we don't want this guy to do this to us if we make him mad. Like, you know what I mean? Like, as I'm saying, every studio is looking at the situation, and I dare say this: if Zack Snyder wasn't at Netflix, like, he'd be in real trouble. Because I don't see any studio reaching out to him and be like, "Hey, come work with us outside of Netflix." At this point, I just don't. And we've kind of seen that.
I'm looking forward to Rebel Moon. I want to see what happens with that. And
I want to see Rebel Moon. I think Netflix is a good place for Snyder because he's not going to be regulated by like rules of IP. He's not going to be regulated by executives. As long as people are tuning in, they'll give him whatever money he wants. He doesn't have to worry about a rating. He doesn't have to worry about any of that shit. So why would he go back to a studio system where he has to worry about all that shit when Netflix will just open the doors for him as long as the fan base is coming? And why isn't that fan base pouring everything into Netflix to make sure that Zack Snyder stays there and keeps his job? And instead of spending all this time on like the past.
By the way, just real quick, thank you, Little Movie Perf, for saying it perfectly. "Quote unquote biased panel equals reviewing sourced article from well-respected journalists. This is the part you idiots say she's not a good journalist because she wrote an article you don't like." And that is the crux of the issue here. A lot of y'all in the chat are being like, "Oh, she's not a good journalist. This article sucks."
I was about to say that.
Because it's saying something that you don't like. That's the issue here.
And also, I would like to say that I pointed this out on Jarbo's stream as well, is that this person, Tatiana Siegel, has written articles on Harvey Weinstein, has written articles on the Johnny Depp Amber Heard situation. She has also written articles on Johnny Depp fans and on Amber Heard fans, and how both of them, like on both sides, were generally not, good to each other. So this Tatiana Siegel, and she has written articles for Hollywood Reporter. She's written articles for Deadline and things that are very reputable and honestly, generally not hit pieces. they are exposés on both sides of the story. So that's it.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Can I
again,
say
it's just
something
the
real
same
quick?
thing.
Sorry.
Go ahead. No, you go.
Okay. Arden, RJ, by the way, I do apologize for trying to come in and tell you personally if I can get a link. I do apologize for that.
No, you're fine, dude. It's all good.
Okay.
Listen, I welcome anybody coming on. This is not an echo chamber. We are here to have a conversation, as much as some people don't want to believe that. But go ahead and say what you want to say, because then I got to read the super chat.
Yeah. And besides, I'm not going to be on it for too long anyway. I just wanted to come on here and just say some stuff real quick. First of all, I do want to say that look, I have some personal experience with like dealing with like a lot of these like people, especially with some of the certain people in the chat. Yeah, I see some of you. Is that like a lot of these people definitely love to listen to misinformation and love to deny that it's fake because they like to hold on to this little clinger of hope that Zack will come back. And look, do I want him to come back? Yeah, I want him to come back. But here's the thing, though. Especially with this whole thing, they're still saying, oh, yeah, he's going to come back. He's going to come back. I don't think so. Like, even with this, I highly doubt it. Plus, not to mention, the general audience, most of it's positive on Zack's part. But, I mean, it's like some of them at the same time want to just kind of move on and focus with what Matt Reeves is doing. And all the hardcore Snyder stans want to like come out here and say that like, oh yeah, if it's not under Zack Snyder, it's bad. It's like, no, that's not what it means. And plus, like the fandom's already been made like to look bad because of the bots in it. And this article is just proving that like this fandom is like absolutely toxic. And I've dealt with toxic people in the fandom before. Like hell, they've sent out death threats to people multiple times, including certain people that we all know and associate with. And it's like at some point in time, this is going to lead to something that the fandom itself is not going to be able to come back from. Like sometime near in the future, maybe the fandom is all going to like turn on each other, which kind of
That's already happened. That's already happened though.
Well, yeah, but I feel like it could get worse to the point where we could see like a lot of people. Like I'm talking about like maybe like sometime we could see like maybe like Geralt versus Mercury. Who the hell knows? But I mean, it's like who the hell knows with that? But I mean, it's like you get what I mean. Like I mean, it's just like it's really like kind of nutty with what's going on, and it's like at the same time, it's like it's just got to get like stopped. Because like this is just getting really crazy. And plus, like I mentioned this in the chat actually, but I had someone when I made a video on this whole thing, I had someone comment at me saying that, oh yeah, you shouldn't be allowed to deliver misinformation. I'm like, dude, really? Like anyway, that's all I had to say.
No, I appreciate you coming on. Just real quick, I want to read this really quick, and then I'll get to William.
Yeah.
So Warner Brothers saw an unfinished CGI cut, basically the 2017 version. Zack filmed new stuff he wasn't allowed to. Now they're mad. It's a little more complicated than that. Basically, Kalar gave him more money than that was initially agreed upon, and he did film stuff without the studio's consent or permission, or their health and safety protocols at the studio level being in there. Right, so that's kind of what happened with that. Thank you, though, man. I appreciate the support. All right, William. Hi, welcome.
How you doing, RJ?
I'm doing good. How did you have a chance to read the article at all?
Yeah, I read it. Read it in detail. Took it for what it was. The bot thing was a complete waste of my brain power that I used to read it. If you were in any retail that requires any type of analytical data, you're never going to make a decision based on one aspect or another. When we use, say for instance, we use Constant Contact or anything else that we use here, I have several means that we use here, and when we do our movie promotions to get responses back, we know that a certain percentage of them are bots, but we have overlays. We have other ways to tell and match up whether we're getting legitimate response and whether there's enough legitimate response. I could have 15 to 20% fake accounts and still know exactly where my audience is.
I mean, honestly, the bot thing was like the least interesting thing to me because
Hey.
bots we know exist
Same
already.
here.
Hey,
So
Casey.
it was everything else.
Hey,
in there.
Caden, William.
How you doing, Max?
I've been wanting to talk to KC. I'm a critic of yours, KC, but I appreciate you.
Hello,
being here.
Max.
What's that?
Max.
Hello,
Mad Max.
Max.
Yeah. Okay,
go.
so a
Talk
few
shit
things
right
that I was listening in the car. I just got home.
Oh, okay. So you're gonna jump in and take over my stream now? Nah.
No, I'm not.
I'm kidding.
But the major concerns, like you guys said, that wasn't even the bot thing.
Yeah, like
All
the
right.
bot thing's the least of my concerns and like the least I'm interested in. It's everything else within that I find more interesting.
No, I have concerns as well. I'm gonna be real. I'm trying to be fair. I personally think the person that's writing the article has a history with Zack, Ray Fisher, and has a strong bias. And I also think that's why Ray didn't reply to comment. That's just my opinion.
Well, I didn't.
But a lot of the stuff that's the most damning that you got, like you and Caden was F-bombs all over the place at the beginning of the stream. I wanted to address those two things. The things with Adam Wingard and the what was the other thing? Oh, the threats towards the reporter about or not threats, but I know
the comments towards the reporter when they
So I believe, and I'm going to do more research on this later, that the reason Zack said, "Oh, my fans can be extreme," is that there's a difference. There's a different side of the story that you're not getting a lot of the context surrounding these comments from the Zack quotes in this article. I believe that she wouldn't retract something that he said to her was wrong about the actress that plays Iris West. She would not retract
I'll bring it up again.
She refused to retract it. Is what I have to research this. Right.
Yeah, hold on. I'll bring it up.
And then the other thing I have to ask is Adam Wingard, is that the director of Kong versus Godzilla?
Yes.
Versus
Oh, you know
Kong?
what it was?
What does that have to do with Zack Snyder? So we're all jumping the gun. He wouldn't. What does that have to do?
Remember what happened?
Yeah.
People thought that they purposely released Godzilla versus Kong 2 weeks after to undermine the success of the Snyder Cut. That was a big talking point, a big deal back then. People were really upset they moved the release date to March 31st.
Okay, I'm trying to. I was honestly trying to remember.
We covered that.
That's what I was trying to think.
The movie was getting review bombed by Snyder Cut fans.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember that.
I remember that. This doesn't have quotes from Wingard or anyone else. This is from a source, so it is hearsay. I do take this seriously. I would actually reach out to Adam Wingard to make sure to verify this. If that is accurate, I mean that's hard to defend that one for sure. I think that was kind of lame. Yes, but
the Kersey Clemens thing.
He's also trying, maybe to be devil's advocate again. Maybe I don't know if he thought that his fans were responsible for it, but based on the context that you just gave, RJ, that was the setting surrounding it. Is that lots of fans were angry because of the
fact that it was being released,
date.
They thought it was purposely released there to undermine, the cut, yes. Real quick, Casey, what did you want to say?
The Kersey Clemens thing was, I think in her report, she reported that Zack had cut her from the original film, original release or whatever, and the Ray Fisher and Zack wanted that to be taken out because technically Zack didn't cut her.
Because they dispute that.
Did. Yeah. Which
and
again,
she did not provide that context in the threat in this thing.
But that's semantics. Like whenever
when
that's context.
No,
that's not semantics when
that's
you're
context.
No,
leaving that out and just leaving the result is
for the film. It's your
They can
responsibility.
be pretty
So
rough.
if anything gets cut or taken out, it's ultimately your responsibility. So I can see where she made that mistake, and I agree. If they want to dispute it, fine. Dispute it all you want.
That's a direct.
But when you're writing an article,
withholding context to make him look bad.
Can I say something real quick? Because I got a limited amount of time before I got to bowl.
Yeah, go ahead, William. Yeah.
Listen, whether you, like I said in the chat, whether you believe in this article or not one way or another and how you take it, it all depends on the common sense and the frame of mind of the consumer that is reading it. If all I had to do right now is take out the subject matter and where I am with it, and then read it over again, and at least 6 or 7 times the words "if this is true" had to pop up, and that's okay for an editorial. I'm not saying I don't have to agree with anything that anybody writes in an article, but in these days, there's a blurred line between what editorial and what people take as fact. And I don't blame the writer. I blame the reader. If you take this a particular way, that's on you, because you can trace a lot of this stuff, and we always get to the point, and let's, like I said, subtract Zack Snyder's name on it and put PB Herman's name on it. When you have enough of your article that leads to nowhere, and like I said, I don't expect her to give up her sources or anything like that, but I have to put that weight on the reader. It's up to you whether you take that. And when you're putting text on a page, a lot of times, and you guys, a lot of us have been in these chat situations, in these chat rooms, where words on a paper and words said in person or on the phone are a lot different, and they can be reshaped. Like I said, I'm not calling this person a liar. I'm just asking the consumer to be smarter in where they take it. Because if you read it, and as far as him suing like that, no, in order to sue, there's nothing that's going to really damage him in anybody's light. You either were for or against what he was doing either way, and that's not going to be damages.
No, I still support Zack, but this does not help anything. No.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, it makes a bunch of things worse. It makes
and
a lot of things worse.
I've been consistent. I called out the holding the heads, Wonder Woman holding with heads thing, and I got a lot of crap for that. I even agreed with Andy Signor of all people. And I gave him props for calling
Zack
that
Snyder, this article is as useful as used toilet paper. If you don't, it's the same way. This article is not going to, like I said, the general audience is not going to be on a small YouTube screen like us. They're not going to delve. Most of the general audience, be honest with you, and I'm a paid subscriber to Rolling Stone. I don't even read it. So it's like it's up to the consumer at this point. There's just too much of this article.
Well, the other thing I had an issue with your reporting, RJ, was that you thought it was a plus that they said Warner Brothers Discovery really didn't have anything to do with that article. We reached out, but they said this is a previous
in regards to what
regime.
So that
I want you not to be naive about these are potentially former Warner Brothers Discovery employees that are now maybe disgruntled. And there's a lot of bias there.
If this
these are not current people. A lot of these sources are not current.
Well, how do you know that?
Because of what they said. We reached out to Warner Brothers Discovery, and Warner Brothers Discovery. There's a quote that says, "This is the former people." Yeah. And you and Kaden
Warner Brothers. No, that's not necessarily true. Because when you write an article,
that's not at all what that meant.
When you write an article,
what does it say? It says we reached out to Warner Brothers Discovery, and they say
you're reaching out to a specific person, like the PR person. You're reaching out to one person or one individual, saying, "Hey, we're writing this article. We have a bunch of sources. Here's what they're saying. Can you corroborate?"
We don't comment on previous regime.
But that's an official comment from them officially. So that's them putting their stamp on it, saying, "Hey, we are not going to comment on this, or we are going to comment on this." Just because you're referring to a source, an unnamed source, does not mean that source still does not work at WB.
How can you ignore that fact that they say we don't comment on a previous? Okay,
this is it. Let me read this.
Right.
Okay, they are talking about the onslaught included cyber harassment so severe the Warner Brothers security division got involved. A Warner Brothers Discovery spokesperson declined to comment on this as this matter predates the current leadership of the company. They declined to comment on the fact that the previous regime had to get the security division involved.
Well, it says this predates the current leadership in new company.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they were referring to the fact that the previous regime had to get security division involved because of the online threats and harassment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again,
I remember
no
reading
defending
that part, and I was like, dang.
I unless you're a direct link to Zack, and I don't downplay threats. You know me. You know, I was right there with the people carrying the
No. You're getting timed out for that. No.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, no. Get out of here, dude. Get the
yeet,
man.
Nah, somebody making a comment like that towards a woman on the
dude.
You're
proving the exact reason why
you guys. Yeah, that's my whole point.
Toxicity.
The people in this chat are proving that article.
Wait a minute, guys. Hold on. Now, here's a problem, and this is one of the reasons why I even jumped on this. I hear the way the fandom in general is described. I know I deal with literally triple digit people around all these type of fandoms on a daily basis. I've never threatened anybody. All I did was buy. All I did was consume. All I did was support. Everybody I've come into contact with, for the most part, whether it be online, and I'm not denying that element doesn't exist, but at some point you got to put your money where your mouth is. And as a consumer, I did that, and I did that without threatening anybody. So when you name hold on, when you name these people, you're right to call out these people, but on the same time, you have to give as much weight to the people who haven't been a part of this, which is the vast majority of people, even if it's 50%. I'm sitting here as proof, as somebody who supports all of this and has never threatened anybody. Even this article like this, all I'm saying with this article is that there are too many things that lead to places where the consumer has to make a decision.
You cannot deny this is where something I'm going to call everyone on this panel defending this article so much.
You gonna call it out?
The framing of saying Zack Snyder is like Lex Luthor, and then the Fiona does not, questioning if she exists.
They never questioned that she existed. That's something that people are missing in this article. They never questioned.
Well, this is the
they
thing,
never
though.
questioned
This is
that
the
Fiona
thing.
existed. They questioned the website that she was a part of. That's a big difference and the nuance of that a lot of people are missing.
Well, can I say something real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I do got to dip in a minute, but this is the biggest reason why I wanted to come on here. Is that the whole Zack Snyder posting stuff on Vera. Now, I don't have a big issue with that, but it's causing a lot of controversy. Whether a lot of people want to admit it or not, it causes controversy. It causes a lot of the people in the Snyderverse fandom to be like, oh, no, this proves something. This proves this. This proves this. And you never know. I could be wrong. Maybe it could be. Maybe it couldn't be. But at the same time, though, like, it causes them so badly to, like, automatically go after people to try to debunk it and try to say, like, well, like, maybe Zack was doing this.
A person should be able to post regardless, unless it violates terms of service or actually provably encourages. As far as I could tell, there's been a lot of comparisons to certain politician, former president. As far as I've known, he hasn't said to go to WB.
Well, but the point is true,
yeah.
though, that the Trump rioters did stop when Trump said go home. So, I mean, I understand that comparison.
He also told them to go there.
Yeah,
You're not including that. Come on. It's not a direct comparison. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. He doesn't say march to WB. We're going to march to WB. No.
I mean, but you could argue, though, that he is encouraging his fans to campaign, though. Right?
Yeah, that's
your
the biggest reason.
Campaign and engage in your content is not a crime.
It's not a crime, but then you need to assume
responsibility.
But then when your other fellow filmmakers are reaching out to you saying, "Can you please call off the house?"
That is concerning.
No.
I said that's my major concern with this
article.
Yeah,
that right there is very
that needs
worrisome.
Verification. I believe
because
this is hearsay before we saw with a person that's extremely biased. In this article.
Okay, but that's my issue, Max. Is like you're saying this writer's biased, but you're not telling me
why. There's a history of it there.
In regards to what?
With the previous Flash thing, the one that she purposefully left out. Well, not I can't prove purposefully. She left out the context.
Anyways, I got to dip, guys. RJ, thanks for having me on, man.
Yeah,
he wanted her to correct something that he was disputing. And just left in the part where
she linked the article. So
she actually did link to the article that
what you're describing. Every journalist encounters at some point. I've had studios contact me and be like, "Hey, take this down," or "This isn't right," or whatever, and we do it. No problem.
And she refused. As far as I know, I will. But the problem is, get more clarification. She would not correct it, and that's what he talked about.
He's saying take it down, or my fans will go after you. Basically.
He said
he
you're framing it differently than the actual here. I'm telling you what the fans are going to do.
Well, hold on though. Let's take a look. Let's take. Sorry, go ahead, Caden.
But it's like, okay, so basically, I'm taking this stream, but saying that, okay, without even telling her to take it down, he's saying take it down because of
these two lines right here. These are the lines that apparently they took issue with.
Now, are these quotes?
These are two lines in the article that came out in March of 2021, last year. That's it.
All right.
These are the lines here that apparently Zack and Ray Fisher had issue with and raised hell on social media about. And apparently that's what caused Zack to basically say, take these out. My fan base can be pretty rough, and they're going to do something.
All right. So, like I said, by the time I'm looking at this article, whatever last night it is, by the time it's in front of my eyeballs, there needs to be cement connections to some of these things. And I'm not calling this woman a liar, but the fact that you could do a whole stream on a guessing game of where the context was is a problem. And I grew up, like I said, I grew up in the age of journalism to where this kind of job, depending on who you aimed it at, would have gotten you sued and fired. But because we're in 2022, it's a topic now. But so maybe I'm just old school, but there's just too many low roads that leads to places where there are no bridges, where the consumer has to make a decision. And to me, that kind of journalism, I'll accept it for what it is, but I just want fans to be smart.
There's another reason that he probably didn't want it knowing what happened, is that they lied to the audience saying that he handed it to Joss Whedon, which he did not. They even lied to the people on the crew. So that was very important. They acted like Zack handpicked Joss Whedon. So that's why it's
since
very
we're bringing up this topic, I have
to
bring this up because I actually take issue a little bit with what Ray Fisher did. And this is why. Okay.
I also have something to say there.
I have no issue with responding to this article. Okay.
Yeah.
This is what the first tweet last night. What I do have an issue with is tagging Tatiana Siegel in the tweet, right? Which is going to result in more harassment and more.
What is what is her article doing to Zack and Ray?
It makes everyone across the board look bad. It makes Jeff Johns look bad. It makes Sean Berg look bad. It makes Warner Brothers look bad.
This is another.
It's objective reporting, though. So
no, this is a topic I'm going to do later.
We
got to really stop with all.
No, what I'm saying is that it's reporting, right? You're reporting on something.
But you said this is an attack. What is an attack here? You might not like what he said.
I'm saying that tagging her leads to more harassment.
Tagging is an attack.
I didn't say tagging was an attack.
What does the article?
Hold on, though. You don't let me finish. You gotta let me finish.
Sorry, I apologize. I'm just passionate.
No, it's fine.
Go ahead.
What I'm saying is that when you tag somebody, okay, they're going to receive every single notification when they like and retweet your post and when they reply to it. And there are examples down here, okay, and I'm sure I can find them. Just give me time to find it. There are examples of people saying that this is the face of evil. They're making fun of her appearance. They're doing all this and that as they're replying to Ray Fisher and basically trying to support him. So some of Ray Fisher's own fans are now harassing this reporter.
Exactly what he was doing.
No, okay. I'm not naive to what people do on Twitter. Twitter is horrible.
Neither is she.
And I'm not excusing bad behavior. What do you think her article did to Zack and Ray? What they got? So if we're gonna apply these rules, set these rules and be consistent for everyone.
I don't think.
Why is this higher standard always on the people throwing shit at Ray and Zack in the fandom?
From people.
There is problems in the fandom. Why is this higher bar than everyone else internet rules?
Because Ray Fisher put himself on that higher bar when he promoted the message of accountability is greater than entertainment.
Okay, well, you
have to take the higher road in regards to some of this. And that's not taking the higher road. I think that's being very petty and childish and immature.
The article was petty and childish in
what aspect?
Different opinions.
Hey, RJ,
he's had issues with her before.
I should not have used the term objective. That was a mistake on my part. My point being, though, is that this is a report, right? That was well researched, that was vetted by several sources, and was looked at and was probably worked on for months. This isn't just something that just came out of nowhere. This is something that was
not
being
only
worked
that,
on for a
vetted
while.
and verified. It's not like she couldn't just put this out
These are
without
still
sending all her sources and all this information to her editors first.
These are
this
all,
idea that she put this out
is
just willy-nilly.
This is in the same category as a scoop to me. Sources,
guys,
unnamed
sources.
No,
stop.
No. This is where I say the whole industry is like this. I put this in the same category as geekosity with sources.
Wow.
You don't name them. We're supposed to, these are potentially former Warner Brothers, WarnerMedia employees.
Didn't fucking name their sources, you guys. Like, this is
right,
how
exactly.
Works.
Exactly.
Yeah, but we're gonna put Woodward and Bernstein in the same category as geekosity? Are you kidding me?
I wouldn't put this article in the
way
same
the
category
industry is right now. It's pretty comparable to what everyone does.
But hold on, though. But you understand the issue, though, when you're basically
it's stupid. This is how journalism works. You don't name your sources.
Exactly.
You,
You
sources
don't.
from
It's
trusted
stupid
people.
either. I want to know about the Adam
This
Wingard
isn't a
situation. I
fucking-
want to
this
be
isn't
able to vet
like a
that.
WordPress site. This is Rolling Stone. This is a legitimate publication with checks and balances. You cannot just walk into a Rolling Stone, hand them this article, and say, "Hey, post it tomorrow."
No, there
They
is
have
a higher
lawyers.
bar that they have
have
other people to answer
to
for
check
than
their sources.
Geekosity. Yeah,
They have to double check
but
their
this
sources.
is still
They have to reach out for
sources.
comments. Yeah, but again, every article.
I think
I
Little
follow a lot of
Movie Perp
political
says it
stuff.
best. Dude, this is a major publication. This is the danger of alternative media. Y'all are conflating both to the same standards when it's clear one is more reputable than the other. And I have to agree with that. I think you're comparing apples to
as clear as you
oranges.
think, though. I really don't.
I would also like to point out
Yeah,
is
like
that
I said, as a
similar
paid
tactics.
subscriber, they're not
I
as
also like
reputable
to
as they
point
were.
out he used the
Right.
word
Not
waning.
anymore.
Well, this is also I was gonna mention this too. Like I have an issue. Hold on. Go back
And
to the
also
original
he
tweet.
used
I say in the past, yes,
but
not currently.
okay,
I have an
Max,
issue with
but
the
Max,
tone of
Max,
this tweet
Max,
though, where
wait.
you're calling her a waning reporter.
Right. Which
And you're
waning
saying
What
that
did she
she's
say about
butthurt.
him and Zack in the
synonyms.
article? I mean,
No,
they're
but
going
wait.
at each other. It's two
No,
sides
but
going at
hold
each
on,
other.
hold on. Max, hold on, pause. He is calling her. He's
Waning.
belittling her in that word waning. He is attacking her by saying waning
He's
already.
responding that someone made an
But
article
But this
about
is
him.
this is what I'm talking about though.
with
This is taking
waning.
the high road.
It's-
You're also
it's-
insulting her. Waning reporter.
Waning
Butthurt.
reporter.
Oh, there
Butthurt.
wasn't
But-
insults calling Zack Lex Luthor.
That was what a
I mean,
source
that's a
apparently
quote from a
called
source.
Zack.
That's a quote
That
from
wasn't
a
what the
source.
writer put in. That's not what the writer said
Yeah.
about Zack. That's what the person she talked to said about Zack,
Okay.
who worked with Zack.
But waning, okay, that's a word. Waning is a synonym to belittling and beta and small-minded. So it's basically like Syl calling me and Casey beta. So he's calling
So you and
Tatiana
Casey
Siegel
have never
a
said
beta,
anything
but in the
disrespectful
smartest way
to people
possible
you
and way he
criticize
can escape
on
it.
Twitter. You've never
called-
said anything. You never said anything worse than waning. Why is this higher standard put on these
But
people?
I'm not a.
and not
What
you?
are you talking
he
about?
said-
I say
but
terrible
waning
shit
is a
all the
smart
time. I'll talk
way
about it
Right,
all day long.
exactly. So why are you putting this high
I'm not a
standard on
fucking
him?
celebrity that preaches A&E all the fucking time either.
That's true. That's
Talk
true.
your shit. I don't fucking care.
You're right. You don't preach accountability over entertainment. That's right.
Here's the thing.
That's the problem.
But this
too.
this
Ray
huge
Fisher has
standard is
himself
like
at
put
a
on other
higher-
people that you
But
yourself
no, because
don't
that
believe.
He
That's
put
what-
that standard on
That's the
himself.
position
That's
that
what
Ray
you're not
Fisher put
understanding.
himself on. Though. Ray
He
Fisher
put that. He
himself
put
on
himself on that standard. He did. No one else put him there. He put himself there. So if he wants
Okay,
to
but
continue
saying
to
waning
have
is an
that
attack.
standard,
That's what was discussed on the previous stream last night.
No, there's more
But
to
waning is an attack, Max,
Oh my
because waning
goodness.
is another. It's a smart way of saying beta and belittling the person.
Okay, there was
It
a
is
lot of
meant
that
to
in the
be-
article.
It is meant to be a discrediting of this person, but it's also meant to kind of like discredit them and kind of put the
Benson's,
attack
I
on them.
have issues with Ray Fisher myself. I said he should have accepted the results. He asked for something to be done. They did a third party investigation, and that's where he should have stopped. That's what I said. So I'm pretty consistent.
Listen, barring threats, I do not condone threats. That is bullshit. But all these individuals entered the public domain. Put on the big boy or big girl pants on, or get the hell out. All right. You are a reporter. You are a journalist. You're a journalist all across the world. That you know what? Once you put your product out there in the public domain, it stands on its own merit. And if people want to attack the merit, and if you can't take that, then get out of the public domain.
Well, he's saying right
No,
here
but
that he
my
never
problem
declined
is
to
that-
comment.
you guys,
Ray
but the
Fisher's
article
all
is specifically about
Ray Fisher's
it's
about
about
being
celebrity.
almighty and positive about how he talks about people.
But
then
what
he
if he
calls
didn't
a
decline to
reporter
comment? She said
waning.
that.
Well, hold on though. I'm glad you brought that up because we're gonna read.
Because
some
I don't know
things.
yet. I don't know.
Let me say something real fast, RJ. The article, the whole point of the article is not about bots. It's not about any of that. It's about celebrity using their social media fan base as a weapon against their enemy, and that's exactly
It's
what
about
Ray
the
Fisher's
weaponization
doing.
of a movement. Weaponization
Exactly.
of
So
fandom.
whatever you want to call,
This
like,
is
you wanna
going to
call it him
happen
being
with
me,
anyone that has a
he's
huge
only-
following
he's
on
only-
social media.
But again, you can stay.
I'm glad
you
to
can
know I'm a
stand up
weapon.
and be higher. You can say no. If you're
I'm a
holding the
weapon
gun,
now. I'm a bot.
you cannot pull the trick. You cannot pull the trigger.
Who's holding a gun?
So my point is, all Ray Fisher is doing is he's just supporting.
He's allowed to reply on social media.
I'm not saying
this
he
article
isn't.
was put on
I'm just
social
saying he's-
media.
Max, you gotta
I'm not saying he's in it. Isn't.
finish.
I'm
Yeah.
saying he by saying what he's saying, he's just supporting the article. That's all he's doing.
Well, that was
He
the
can-
point I was going to bring up.
he
In a
can
way,
say
he's
whatever
kind,
he
he's
wants.
in a way, he's kind of confirming what Tatiana and the sources were complaining about and talking about.
Listen,
That's
this is
also
the
the
age of
issue, too.
social media. We have a lot of new roles now with social media. There's a lot of discovery to figure out. I ultimately, my opinion on social media is you have to be responsible for your own actions and words. And it would have been
And
nice
I think,
if there were
I think
more.
we all can agree about that. I don't think
Yes.
anyone
I don't
here
disagree
disagrees
with
with
that.
that.
all I'm gonna criticize Ray is that he wouldn't, which I major problem I've had with him in the past. He wouldn't stop after a third party investigation, and they said we took remedial action, and he didn't let it go after that. So I cannot support. I stopped supporting him there. But replying to an article that you're in is not an attack, and saying waning is like a small, insignificant.
But you know what the intent is, though, and what this tweet was going to cause.
What was the intent of her article?
The intent of her article was to report on findings in the report that from WarnerMedia that was given to them, and then about the investigation and the digging into what exactly happened with the making of the Snyder Cut, what went down, how do people feel about Zack, and the use of social media.
There's a lot of context missing, and it's a lot one-sided. The article,
ton of context missing, and like
there's
I said,
there's two sides to every story. We all agree on that.
I'll say
it's
this
very
on my way out.
one-sided story, and it could potentially. I don't have the proof, but WarnerMedia.
She gave Snyder and Fisher the opportunity to comment on the article, and they declined. So they allowed for that narrative to get out there.
I think actually Zack did contact her because there was that part where he said, I would appreciate a fair and balanced article, which
at the very end,
good based on their previous interaction where she would not.
Yes.
As far as I know, she would not correct what he wanted.
By the way,
so there's a precedent
I don't mean to interrupt, but William was trying to say something, so I want to let William talk.
Sorry.
Listen, Rolling Stone. I'm 47 years old. I've been collecting Rolling Stone, buying Rolling Stone on a monthly basis since its strength was in the paper format. Yes, Rolling Stone has a history of being credible, but you also have to understand that in order to stay relevant with the TMZs and all these other ones, to stay in the mind space of everybody, there are certain tactics that have happened. 20 years ago, this wouldn't have happened in Rolling Stone. Trust me. 20 years ago, I remember when Ice-T was on the cover of Rolling Stone, dressed up in a cop uniform, and there was a lot of conjecture and a lot of hearsay you could have put to really smear one side or the other in 1992, and they just didn't allow it because the only things you were competing with were legitimate journalism at the time. Now these same legitimate names, Washington Post, all these things are competing with the mindset of everybody. So they have to do what they have to do. Now, I'm not saying that this woman's a liar, but it's up to the consumer, and I haven't seen this in the last 24 hours. Consumer has to be smarter and understand the arena that they're in. All right? You have to understand that when you hear certain keywords or when you don't hear certain keywords, it's up to you, the consumer, not whether to determine whether this person's a liar, whether to determine whether the story even means anything to you or not. Like I said, I am literally someone who would fall in some of these categories that they're describing. And have any of you ever known me to threaten anybody or do any of these tactics? And like I said, I explained a lot of these things before. It is this is more of an editorial. There are certain keywords that make this an editorial, and that's fine. But there are too many things that are missing in order to draw the type of conclusions that I've heard drawn in the last 24 hours. If you want to believe that, there's nothing wrong with you. But understand that in this era of reporting, to get to it first and release it on a day to piggyback on something that's happening era, getting things right is not paramount. Now, you can do that in the atmosphere that is the media. However, like I said, I always take it this way. If you want to believe something, whether it's true or not, or whether you can really hang on it, if I put this in front of a judge or jury, what would happen? This would get thrown out. Now, we're not talking about a court of law, which is great, but that's where my mindset is.
And the same thing with Ray Fisher, I would add.
If there are too many bridges to cross, if I have to create too many bridges to what the context is, I'm generally going to put the article down and go on to something else. And there are just too many bridges here. Like I said, not calling this woman a liar, not trying to defame her, but there are too many times just on this panel alone where we've had to come up with if, ands, or whats and rely on people that I'll never hear or see. And when you compare it to the Watergate situation, there's difference. There was a congressional investigation that was leading up to that. There were other things. There were arrests made. There were so many things that were leading up to Watergate. You're talking about a crime, a burglary. Here, there are no connections in that matter. Like I said, once again, disclaimer.
Well, no, WarnerMedia did have an investigation on the bot account.
But we're talking about
they have an investigation on Ray Fisher.
When you're talking about a criminal investigation, you're talking about something that is not subjective because it has to hold up in the court of law.
My point is that whenever we say sources, we have to drop this idea that they need to be named or it's not credible. That's my point.
No, but we also have to drop the idea. Hold on. We also have to drop the idea that you follow them blindly too. You have to balance these things out.
I'm saying be consistent with sources in general. I do put a higher standard because Rolling Stone, if someone writes an article, they have more bosses. But it's ultimately relying on source, and there's a lot of animosity across the board at WB of former employees, current employees. It's a shit show. We all agree.
Well, actually, the Mooneyper brings up a great point, though. In this article, just mentioned that Zack Snyder reached a settlement with WarnerMedia in regards to the materials that he took.
Right, of things he filmed. That's
no, the things that he took.
There's some legal problems there.
The things that he took, Max. The things that he took.
Hey, real quick, the Casey
of his work when they hijacked his film.
Not his. It's the studio.
I understand that.
And he illegally took them.
I know there's contracts, Caden. I know there are, but they butchered his film and he stole it.
I have it right here. Hold on.
And it
would. Can I respond to Casey's comment real quick?
Yes, William. Go ahead.
Hey, when you say that it's just when we hear sources, unnamed sources, that people automatically discount it. No, I don't. But at the same time, you have to take that same aggressive analytical approach to what could be the context of the other side. I can't just blindly throw myself into unnamed sources as if it's gospel too. You have to take a objective view. And in this article, just doesn't allow me to do that. There's just not enough real estate in this article to where the unnamed sources lead to something that's credible. Usually, like I said, years ago, when you write an article, you always have unnamed sources. Since the press
so do you disagree? Do you disagree that Zack Snyder used his fandom as a weapon against the studio?
I think
that's a loaded question.
What's up?
That's the point of the article.
I don't agree with
that. That's a loaded way
point of the article,
framing
though.
it.
That's the point of the article.
Yeah, but the point of the article,
sure.
Too many access points of the article depend on things that I can never follow through on. And in an article where you have things going on where, I have unnamed sources, but I also have this. And there's just not enough of this here for me to take the article as anything but an editorial. Good editorial. This person's put out their opinion. But all I'm asking is for the consumer, whatever you decide in this article, be smarter than a lot of people have been in the last 24 hours in their response to it. Don't go making threats. Don't go doing stupid stuff.
I'm going to say, so if this article was the opposite and it came out and said, hey, Warner Brothers loves Zack Snyder. They really tried hard to make the Snyder Cut work. They're going to restore it, blah, 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 blah. If it was saying all that, but it was all the same sourced information, would you be saying it's not true?
If somebody would attack the credibility of it and said, you know what, where are the sources? Yeah. Because like I said, the very first words out of my mouth were that I took the subject matter out of it. Because there's always going to be somebody that says, you know what, where are these sources at? And that's a legitimate question no matter what the topic is. So you guys get married to the headline instead of the structure.
I haven't mentioned the headline once. In fact, I said the headline.
You can't have the conversation.
Honestly, the headline's not been to take us.
No, but I'm talking about not the headline, the subject. You guys are married to the subject and not the structure. Because if somebody came in and legitimately and questioned the sources of something you just brought up right now, that person is just as legitimate as somebody who can't take this article as anything more serious because of the same reason. So yes, you are 100% correct. This person would. I would. And I speak for me.
Honestly, I don't believe you. So,
why would you not believe me?
If the trades came out today and said, hey, Snyder and Warner Brothers, they love each other. This article is all bullshit. And our sources say that it's getting restored. You would say, oh, everyone would be like crazy. Okay. Oh, the trades are right. The trades are right. This article says the trades are right.
You just met me and you just met, but go back and find anything I've ever been on.
Been consistent.
Where I have not been consistent.
Okay.
You can talk about that to
if you're
somebody
consistent, William, that's fine. But as far as the fandom goes as a whole, that's not the case.
Here's the thing. Stop that. I'm part of that fandom as a whole.
Okay, we have
Right?
to stop doing this. We're talking about the fandom as a whole. I'm not talking about you as an
You don't know
individual
what the
person.
whole is.
Exactly.
What
I don't
is the
care about
whole?
you,
What
and I don't know who
percentage
you
of
are.
it?
You're right. I don't. I'm talking about the fandom
Not just
as a
me,
whole
all
and
of
the impact
us.
they have. All right.
Casey, I think what's happening is the people that you engage with most in the Snyder, and I'm not saying they're insignificant or small, the toxic ones, but the ones that you probably engage with the most are the toxic ones. So
Okay, and that's the ones we're talking about. I'm not talking about William. I don't care.
You're biased. But as a whole, it is offensive to me. I've done nothing, and everybody I know that I engage with has done
And
nothing.
I'm friends with, well, I'm not as much friends as I used to be with Mikey and Sil because of circumstances. But I question when they say they have a source too. When I used to talk to them, I messaged Mikey, like, "Are you really confident with that?"
I think it's fair at this point to say that there is a large subsection of this fandom that has grown toxic and extreme. I don't think
that is fair, but as a whole is different than that. Say that.
Yeah,
that's all I'm asking.
A lot, and I'm not downplaying that, RJ, but a lot of these things and a lot of like the bot issues are with social media in general. And but that
doesn't negate the fact that it exists and needs to be
handled. I'm not. Did I? No. I'm saying, like, the whole bot thing, I'm like, well, bots are a problem on the internet, especially Twitter. And then people thought I was crazy last night.
Well, Saggy's here. Hi, Saggy. Saggy's saying,
you didn't
the majority of this fan base is toxic now.
You didn't want to cover that other article about the bots?
Because that was an opinion piece and didn't actually present any information. I actually read it. I did read it and just dismiss it. I looked through it.
That's a bigger piece. Forbes is what people say is reputable.
Here we go. So that article was written by a senior contributor. You know what a senior contributor is? It's an unpaid position that they just submitted articles. Remember that guy who got fired for putting out false information on Forbes, and he had to retract the whole article and almost got himself and Ray Fisher sued? Remember that guy?
I'm just saying, I put all this.
But again, they're not all the same. They're not all the same. That's what we're trying.
Well,
to
you're
get
picking and choosing based on your
opinion. I think Max said
journalists over fucking bullshit artists. That's my point. There's a difference between a credible journalist who has a career.
I think everyone's full of bullshit.
But that's just not how reality works, though, Max. That's just not how the industry works. Like there are websites that are more credible than others.
That's totally fine. Do that.
I think everyone's full of bullshit equally. Yes.
Hollywood.
I've been online long enough to think that.
Covered. I mean, let's just be like, that's not even like a debate. That's just factual. A website like Hollywood Reporter will always be more.
When you guys are looking at this article,
but you've covered Forbes before for your stuff, but not this one.
Who?
On other streams we've done, but now this one you didn't want to because Casey said he doesn't put in the same category because he's unpaid consultant.
Well, it's also an opinion piece, not an editorial or a exclusive. It's an opinion piece. It's someone else analyzing what they read. It's not the same thing. That's kind of the other thing that's being missed here.
It was mainly focused on the bot stuff, not about the other stuff too.
Yeah, and we're really not even talking about the bot stuff right now, which is like, we're looking at the actual meat of the article that goes even beyond that first opening 2 to 4 paragraphs.
Mm-hmm. Well, I told you my major concerns.
Thanks for having me on, you guys. I got to split, but consumers, just be smarter. That's all I ask. Thanks, guys.
All right. Well, thank you, William, for coming on. I appreciate it, man. So I want to get to the thank you. I think the credibility reporter gives her sources the benefit of the doubt. Yeah.
The credibility is in question for a lot of people based on her past actions.
But again, what her
past actions about what though? That she reported
the
on
interaction with Ray Fisher and not retracting, and that
happens to every journalist. So if that were the case, anytime a journalist wrote an article about something that they were told
that they were saying
an article about, then that would mean that there were being some bias in something. That happens to everybody, Max.
The context of it, though, Casey, is that they were disputing what she was saying was incorrect, and she still wouldn't remove it. Is from what I've been told. I have to research that.
If she didn't remove it, it means that she had evidence that it's not incorrect.
And then in this
so she has a recording of a source from a phone interview. Because again, when you're taking stuff to your editor to say, "Hey, I have a source," you need to have proof of what that source said. Usually, recording.
Well, so you have the source, the director itself, in dismissing that and keeping the other source.
So
that's her decision. But
are we saying that that actors and directors don't lie?
No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying she picked as one source over the other.
Exactly. So like,
and there's a reason that he then in this article she included the part where he said the fandom's not going to react well to this, and
which
left
is,
out
again,
all the
it's a
context
threat.
of why
He's
he wanted
threatening
it
her.
removed.
Which is the whole point of the article, is that he uses social media as a threat against people, against things that don't agree with him.
He said they're not going to be happy about this.
That's basically
Bro, come on.
That's kind of a threat, Max. That is kind of a threat.
She wouldn't remove it.
No,
he's
hold on though.
disputing what she's claiming.
Based on that quote, it seems like Zack is flexing the fact that his fandom is very social media and very ravenous and can jump on her.
It's hard to know.
That's what he would.
It's hard to know.
When it came out that his fans were telling Elmo to go fuck himself, Zack Snyder applauded it and thought it was great. He's encouraging this behavior. Like, we have to stop.
What? I don't even know about this Elmo thing.
It was like when HBO Max put out an Elmo tweet or something, and you know, every time they put out something, like they had those people go.
So what did he actually say? LOL or something? What? I don't get.
He was like, "That's great" or something, or like, "That's awesome."
Yeah, I'll pull up the article right now. I have it right here. Snyder,
I'm saying there's not. She didn't include the context of what exactly he wanted.
Zack Snyder credits fans for disrupting WB.
And if you're going to leave that in, I think that's a failure on the reporter.
Well, look at this. Zack Snyder credits fans for disrupting Warner Brothers Sesame Street tweets and demanding Just League cuts. That's pretty rad. So here's the quote, if I can find it. Here we go. Their websites, their Twitter, their everything, they were paralyzed. They were literally paralyzed, Snyder explained. They could make no release. They could talk about nothing. I was talking to an unnamed executive so that HBO Max would tweet something about Sesame Street, and people would be like, fuck Elmo, release the Snyder Cut. That was the world they lived in. And they were like, Jesus Christ, what are we supposed to do? We can't function. That's pretty rad.
Okay, so are they actually telling the Sesame Street fuck? Or they say, we don't care about Elmo?
No, but Max, you're missing the point. The point is that Zack supports the fact that they paralyzed and basically lambasted their social media accounts with nothing but Snyderverse stuff anytime they try to post about something else. That's the point.
Okay, let me can you make that bigger? I want to get to the meat and potatoes here. I was talking to an unnamed executive who said that HBO Max would tweet something about Sesame Street, and people would be like, F Elmo, release the Snyder Cut. Okay. I guess if that makes you upset.
But do you understand that this is a pattern, though? That's the point here.
The other thing is that when Chris Evans said enough is enough about the whole Obadell, and just enough is enough as
the Uvalde shooting.
Yeah, there was multiple people.
Release the Snyder Cut stuff.
Was released. Restore the Snyderverse.
Yeah, those are people that are not Zack.
But you realize that there are people who are using random ass tweets to put.
Oh yeah. That happens a lot. Again, I have to preface this because everyone's going to say I'm downplaying. I'm not downplaying it, but this happens on Twitter. It's a Twitter problem, an internet problem. And I don't see why this higher standard is set on, people are morons on Twitter. Why would he spend his time addressing each stupid incident on Twitter?
Hold on, though.
That has nothing directly
to do with
the
kind of excuse I really hate, because here's the thing. It takes no effort to put out.
He could spend the rest of his life apologizing for.
No. He doesn't need to do it every single time.
On Twitter.
Hold on, though. He doesn't need to do it every single time. He doesn't need to do it every single time. But when a director like Adam Wingard reaches out to you and asks you, "Can you please call off the mob?"
And I said, "I'm concerned."
He says no. That is an issue. That's the kind of thing we're talking about here.
That's from
when big things happen, you need to be open and respond.
I do take that seriously, RJ. Remember at the beginning, I said that's my biggest concern of this article is that one, and it's from a source. And I can't reach out to Adam Wingard. I would love to get anyone to reach out to him.
Solo, he brings up a great point. James Gunn does this all the time. He calls out people for going under Chris Pratt. He calls out people for being toxic. He does this all the time on Twitter. Zack can't do the same?
Usually,
James Gunn's very active and will gladly call out people who go after Chris Pratt. He's done it. He did it just a couple days ago.
Calling out other people. does he call out his own
Is that not
fans?
is that not calling out toxicity within the MCU fandom when MCU fans
all Zack needs to do is say, "Hey, fans, I love you. Like, I love your support, but please stop harassing people on my behalf." That's all he needs to do.
Here's the issue. I would agree with, in a perfect world, that would be great. But let's not pretend that this isn't complicated and that they actively try to use everything he says against them.
It's
then
not hard to do.
Then it'll be like, then the
though.
Casey
The bare minimum
Walshes and
to put
all
out
the other
one
people like,
statement when
see,
a
he admits it. He admits it. You're going to use that as ammo too. So yes, I would prefer in a perfect world where he could just say things freely and things not be constantly used against him. But he has said it twice, and the more he says it, all you're going to get is quotes and articles. Zack admits his fandom is horrible. Now, that doesn't excuse them being horrible, but that is this thing
That's
that
basically
you're
just
totally
saying
ignoring.
don't do anything though, because it's not.
No,
worth it.
he did not do anything, and I proved
Dude,
this.
he basically put out a tweet today saying "stand back and stand by." Like
oh,
come on,
another Trump reference.
He kind of did.
Man.
He did.
Like, it's not like I'm making this shit up. Like he did it.
How do you know? You know, he needs to focus on his work.
This is what he put out today. Amidst all of this,
you don't know if he's not.
Amidst all of this
with his
going
attorney.
on, this
You
is
don't
what
know
he decides.
What
This
he's
is
gonna
how
do.
he decides to respond. If I advance, follow me. If I retreat, kill me. If I die, avenge me.
Okay.
That's how he chooses to respond to this and hype up the release of this digital cut.
What is he responding to? He's promoting his digital.
He's responding to the article. He's responding.
That's a response to the article too.
In what way? Explain it to me.
Because this was, and then he made a separate post about the digital release.
Okay, explain it to me then.
If I
That this
advance,
is a direct
follow me.
response.
If I retreat, kill me. If I die, avenge me. He's basically saying, if we continue the Snyderverse, yeah, follow me. Or wherever I continue, follow me. Follow what I say. If I retreat, if I back down and say never mind, then you can.
Yep.
You know,
So here's where the quote comes from. This comes from the Henri de la Rocha Jacqueline, which is a rebellion. Resistance to conscription soon escalated to a full rebellion known as the War in the Vendee. This comes from a general who gave his famous order. Friends, if I advance, follow me. If I retreat, kill me. If I die, avenge me. It's literally a war cry. That is a war cry. It's a rebellious war cry. That's where that quote comes from.
I don't know. I don't know about that one. I don't know.
I literally just looked it up. It's on Wikipedia.
No. I'm saying I don't know if what
it's a war cry. That's what it is.
You're assuming his intention is.
But that's
that.
Okay. Then hold on though.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what way to take this. I don't know. I know he's promoting the digital.
He's not promoting with this post though.
This is a picture of the Snyder Cut with that quote, that war cry quote.
Okay.
I think you're just too nice, Max. I think you're just too nice of a person to not want to upset anybody. Whether no matter what side of the
believe me, all those Snyder fans don't come around my channel anymore.
Well, that's because you dare to speak the truth. You know what I mean? Like that's
no. It's because he has me.
I mean, this to me is vague and open I'm not saying you're wrong.
How this could encourage people to act out, though?
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying you're right. I don't know how to take that.
That's kind of the nuance of this, where it's just like that's kind of the issue. I want to bring up this Ray Fisher thing, and then we can wrap things up because I don't want to go for too much longer because I want to make dinner. But this is what Ray Fisher said. Rolling Stone and Tatiana Siegel need to amend this article immediately. Neither myself nor anyone on my team ever declined to comment to Rolling Stone. Furthermore, this type of rumor or reporting is offensive, dangerous, and willfully based on fact. It
is rumor, and so was his. So was Ray's.
Well, here we go, though. Max,
stuff,
you know how he says neither myself nor anyone on my team ever declined to comment to Rolling Stone?
On his team.
Pay attention to that. Pay attention to that. He said that no one on my team declined.
Did he say they weren't even contacted?
Here's Noah Shack. Yeah, he basically implied that they weren't even in contact. Noah Shackman then says, here's one of several emails the Rolling Stone sent to your reps. Begin forwarded message. So we're through the bottom first. Hi, Valerie and Hannah. I'm writing a story that examines the authenticity of the Snyder Cut Snyderverse fan movement and how the fan base attacked viciously at times a number of people, including Walter Amada, Jeff Johns, John Burke, Ann Sarnoff, Joanna Fuentes, Diane Nelson, Toby Emmerich, Joss Whedon, Adam Wingard, James Gunn. I would like to request a comment from Ray Fisher on the following. Sources say they believe that you worked in tandem with Zack Snyder to weaponize the Snyder Cut fandom, and they say that you did so to help him get what he wanted from Warner Brothers. How do you respond? Then the second email. Hello, checking in on this one last time since the 5 p.m. deadline already passed. This story is posting tonight. If I don't get something back from you soon, I will have to say Fisher declined to comment. Let me know. Thanks.
All right, let me see. Well, they
And
have
just so you know, just so everyone knows, that is
Paradigm
standard.
Agency. Okay,
That
we
is
at
a
least know
standard
that
email.
part.
If you don't say anything,
he's
anyone will put
actively.
decline
Well,
to
like
comment.
Casey, like Casey finished, because he's making a point about this that I wanted to hear.
Oh, I'd say that's a standard email. Like anytime you have an article you're writing like this, you send out that email, and they do not have to. They don't have to like respond. That's why you put, if we don't respond, we're going to take that as a decline to comment.
Right. That's fair. That's fair reporting. But I want to know the Paradigm Agency. He's actively being repped by Paradigm. I don't know.
Yes, he's represented by Paradigm, supposedly. Yes.
But Matt,
then he should reach out to someone in his team. I don't know if maybe he didn't know, or if he's purposely lying.
Well, and then Ray responded with this. So this is what Ray said.
Okay.
He's saying, nice try, but you cropped out the part of those emails where Tatiana Siegel switched deadlines on my team. Trying to spend half-finished emails into a gotcha will get you nowhere. Rolling Stone, please rein in your employees is embarrassing amateurs. So he's saying that they pulled a gotcha on him where they cut this part out. If you could get me a response by my deadline tomorrow at 6 p.m., that would be great. Thanks. And he's trying to say it's a gotcha because they said 5 p.m. So they said. He's claiming that because there was a 1 hour difference, then that made all the difference.
Journalists reaching out to talent or whoever for a comment, they do generally push up the deadline an hour before on the day of. Hold on, Max. Hold on. They usually push the deadline an hour ahead on the day of, so then it pressures the person to email them back a comment on it.
Is there some talking point here that we could consider that she gave them less than 24 hours and then ran it?
Because
not ran it, pushed it forward.
That's not the only email he got.
The
Rolling Stone is saying he got several emails.
So July 17th and July 18th is the ones I see.
Okay. Yeah, those are the ones that they're sharing publicly right now. Yeah. But again, if you go here, they said this is one of several emails. So if there's more, that's not good.
Yeah, but we have to go.
They emailed his representation, and
we have to go on what the proof they're providing right now, because that would be, you would think that they would provide the best proof right away. So the 17th to the 18th, less than 24 hours. I'm not saying, but still, Ray should have to. He should. Why is Ray just saying that and not saying?
Go back to his original tweet. Go back to his original tweet. He said, neither myself nor anyone on my team ever declined to comment to Rolling Stone. Well, that's not true, because if you choose not to reply...
It is in a way, but yeah.
Yeah, but that's like wishy-washy.
No, I know. He's also
playing the email. I will have to say decline comment if I don't get something back from him.
Again, which is the point I was trying to make earlier.
Playing a game as well, saying he didn't decline. He didn't even get a respond. So in a way, he is still telling the truth with being.
Well, yeah, but
listen.
It's manipulating the truth.
It says in the article. It says in the email that if he doesn't respond,
he didn't respond.
That is declining to respond.
Yes, but this is also something it's an industry standard that if you don't reply, they're going to run.
It's just very shady and twisting the truth. Is my issue with that. That's kind of twisting the truth to be
he does that. It was done on purpose so that people would read that tweet of his and attack her and attack Rolling Stone. That's what I'm talking about.
Casey, you can't be completely naive that some people that write articles do this with limited time and do that also with with little time to respond and then say they declined to comment.
I mean, again,
but that's pretty much industry standard, though. It is.
It's hard. Yes, you're certainly good, but you're going to reach out more than one time. Like I said,
right. But all that was provided so far was one time with 24 hours so far as we see, unless they provide more. And even though I think it's, weasel words like our friend Tony says what Ray is saying, he didn't actually decline. He just didn't respond. So he's not actually lying. It's just kind of lame the way he did that.
No, I agree. It's lame, and it's lame for the reason that he's using that to rile up his
It's
fan
trying
base
to
go
it's
attack
trying to
this girl.
rile people up and discredit the writer and the
Because
publication.
But they're both
you and
see
me-
what this is what you three might be missing. They're both using bullshit tools. He didn't actually decline, he didn't respond. So he wasn't lying.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anywhere where the editor in chief is saying that it's entirely possible that Ray's reps never told him about the email. So, and if that's the case, then Ray Fisher needs new representation.
Right. Exactly.
Well,
yes.
I mean, I think Ray Fisher's needed new representation
But
for a while.
the,
but
the,
like,
the thing that does
I think
not
that's
look
another
good on Ray's
conversation
part
altogether.
there, the thing that does not look good on Ray's part is he didn't say he never saw that email. If he
never, that's a good point. He never said that I never got
So
an email.
I told you I'm fair. So he actually made it a little worse on himself because he is saying, look at the date there, and he never says I didn't see this, but he wasn't really lying. This is like political speak. It's unfortunate, but this is what they're doing. They're playing politics.
Well, do you understand the concern now, though, where it's kind of like, okay, so Zack Snyder has issues with Johns and Berg. Then 5 days later, Ray Fisher starts coming out. Then he starts having issues with Hamada. Now suddenly Ray's going for Hamada. You see where like this kind of like it's becoming a bigger issue and potentially like a giant scandal in a way, to where it's like, what the hell's actually going on here? Because it seems really fishy.
There's still a war on all sides on this. It's ridiculous. They're still playing games on both. You know how Doomcock and all that say bullshit stuff about civil war at the company. There still is a war going on, and there's still people that lost their
and why the
jobs
hell would
because
Zack
of-
ever want to work in that environment, or would they want to work with him right now?
It depends. I don't know everything, and I always said I'm 50.
This is bad. This is bad.
This
really
looks bad.
Here's
I
something to
said-
think about, Max. Here's something to think about. And again, I know no one's gonna like this talking point, but so I'm sure I'll get the comments in the comment section. Toby Emmerich is still running that studio right now. So like the idea, while this article is out there and this article is running rampant, Toby Emmerich still has the ear of what's his name, the guy that's
I'm not.
taking over
Hold on, though, real quick. I'm not taking the side of the corporation here. I'm taking the side of truth and the actual factual information. Again, just because I'm saying things that you may disagree with, and I'm not taking the side of Zack and Ray Fisher, does not mean I'm taking Warner Brothers' side either.
No, I have my issues with Ray. Definitely, I think he's taken things too far before.
No, I think what this article does is it just proves that no one was hands were clean in this situation. Everyone was fucking dirty. Everyone,
and that's
like, no one
probably
walked
a
out of
lot.
this fucking...
Unfortunately, there's politics in the industry, and they're still at each other consistently. So
dude, yeah, Snyder went on
this article is very one-sided though.
Snyder went on the Colbert Report and said, "Fuck WB." Like
yeah, he said, "Stuck it,
in a funny way." What's the context?
Whatever it was.
What's the context? Do you actually,
But again, like you don't do that if you're planning on going back to that company, regardless.
I'm glad I can provide
running the show.
Yeah, Samir's correct. Not responding is declining.
Yeah, as the industry, but
that's industry practice. Ray knows the game. Ray's not an idiot. He knows the game.
Well, here, let me be devil's advocate. Maybe he doesn't know the game. I mean, Ray is relatively new still, right? He's been in one movie and one TV show, so maybe he's not aware of like the kind of different standards and practices that go along.
He didn't decline. He never responded. That
is declining though in the industry. That's considered declining.
That is on the standard on the reporter side, but not necessarily on the subject.
That's standard everywhere.
That's general practice.
Everywhere.
Max,
if you don't respond,
I would reach out to
you're
Marvel all the
declining
time
to
for
respond.
Then they should say did not respond. They use the word decline.
You say
I hate playing these games too. I'm saying,
Max,
if you were going to do accurate, you would not respond to comment. That's the other way you could do it, right?
But you set the precedent in the email that you are going to say in your article.
They clarified. If
talent has declined
to
respond, and if the talent has a problem with that response of saying that they're declining,
we're talking.
They will respond. Hold on. They will respond saying, "Can you not say I declined? Can you say I did not respond?" But
no, then it would be responding. That's a trick.
But
no.
So,
I mean, yes, if we're going to talk about
I think
standards in the industry, it would have probably been better for the reporter said would not respond for comment. That would be more accurate. If we're talking about accuracy and ethics, yes, it's a standard, but saying declining or not responding is declining. They should have just put did not respond for comment. and then he would be absolutely lying if he, you know.
I mean, I think bottom
it's all
line is
stupid games. It's
he
all
should have
stupid
emailed his fucking team before he said anything. To be honest, like, I mean, it's obviously he never even saw that email to begin with, so he should have been like, "What the fuck?" I'm sure he was after.
I would
he got that email
respected
from
him
Noah.
more if he would have said, "I didn't decline, but I didn't respond based on what her previous article was because there's a history there."
Yeah,
But
if you
again,
would have
that's
clarified
not
that,
doing-
that would be different, but that's not what
I
he
would
did.
have
not doing
respected
yourself
that a
any
lot more
favors,
than playing these
right?
games. Yeah.
It's not doing yourself any favor either. Like if I
Oh,
were
No, it makes him and
Matt-
Zach look worse now. In
Yeah,
retrospect.
they should have said something. He should have said something. He should have fought back against it. Like the fact that you're not like you're not commenting, or you refuse to comment, or you refuse to comment after the fact, after you've seen the article, and you're saying you're not, instead of rebutting the article, you're saying you never contacted me about this.
But even like a reporter putting that at the bottom of an email is making the recipient agree to the contracts that they never agreed to. Like, you're not responding means you're declining. You should have just put not responded, honestly. But
When
it's
you're
still
emailed by
it's
when your
weaseling out of it. It's
the
weaseling
same
out of it.
thing
Not
with casting, Max. If you, the talent, and your representatives do not respond to an email at a timely manner, you are automatically as
What up?
logged to be declined to respond. Even if you didn't respond, if you did or not, you declined to respond because you did not respond.
I said,
hold on, real quick.
Because his
real quick,
name's Ray
real
Fisher.
quick,
It's
real quick.
fishy. I don't like the way he responded, but he technically
The
wasn't lying.
boogeyman is here, folks. The boogeyman is here. Now the chat is gonna everyone's gonna start leaving. It's like, oh god, he's here.
I don't know. I literally just took my kids to the park and then we went for a nice afternoon drive, so I don't fully know what's going on.
We're discussing the aftermath of the Rolling Stone article and everything going on with
Right
that.
now, it's about Ray Fisher.
Oh, Mr. Liar? Yeah.
Well,
El Senor Diva?
I did say this.
Kryborg?
I have my issues with Ray, and he's playing a game here where he said I did not decline, which is not he didn't respond. That's basically it. So
Yeah, that is
lying.
declining to respond. That is, she could have worded it and just said like, "Oh, he didn't respond."
$2 super chat saying "Return of the Mat."
But he used that game to try to make her look bad, and it backfired on him. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because the EIC of Rolling Stone came out and was like, "Fuck you, buddy."
And then when he commented on the email, he didn't say, "I didn't see this ever," which would have been an out. Like, oh, I didn't see this email before, but no, he said, "Look at the date, look at the time."
Yeah, he's deflecting, because that's right. Look, I've said this for a while. I said this last night. I think now, based upon his response, as we were live last night, his response wasn't to bring up the declining of the comment. His first response was, "Well, you said you put out this article on Hollywood Reporter," so it's completely a deflection and a defense. Even though, like, we looked at the article, she said Zack had emailed her and said, like, "Hey, maybe don't do this because my audience may not be a big fan of that," which does come across as a little bit threatening.
We covered that already.
I'm not trying to go back and rehash old territory. What I'm pointing out, though, is that Ray Fisher is running defense for Zack Snyder. Ray Fisher did not do anything without Zack Snyder's approval. Ray Fisher has now tied his career to Zack Snyder. And that is where we find ourselves. And that is the reality of it. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just simply pointing out that's the fact. Is Ray Fisher was a stage actor who got brought into this big role, life-changing role, did not have a good experience, of which he vocalized that. But then his very first attack was not about Hamada, was not about, he went after Joss Whedon, but really was going after Jeff Johns and John Berg.
Hi, Dane.
So the idea here that
I'm actually going to head out so you guys could talk, because I'm too passionate about this subject.
No, we need opposition here. It's
what I want to know is Max, how do you feel after reading this article? How do you feel?
I have concerns, and I went over it before, that I have a lot of issues with. My opinion is that the author of the article is very biased, and there's a history there, and there's a lot of context left out, and a lot of sources, the source game, which I put.
But you never sit there and say it's like her sourcing it. This is the thing what people don't realize about journalism. All right. If you have multiple sources who are talking to you about a subject, you will vet those sources. A person like Tatiana Siegel is a person who's been around for a long time. She's got multiple connections into every studio. This isn't like me coming out of this isn't like fucking Sil Abdul, who's all like, oh, we're hearing this. All right. Which means it's Mikey telling him this, who Mikey may or may not be telling the truth on. We don't know. This is a person with a storied history who has got bylines at multiple publications that
has a history with Ray and Snyder and the fandom.
Everyone does, Max.
Yeah.
Every person who's covered this shit for the past 5 years,
right? But you don't
has a history.
and you covered the previous Flash article where Zack was upset with what she wrote and disputed it, and she wouldn't remove it. But the only context
no, that wasn't I don't like this. It was my audience isn't going to like this.
Because
that's like hey, I think you're a cool kid. Don't come to school tomorrow. It's the same mentality.
But you don't have all the context there, Matt, of the whole conversation.
Do you? I have what's been presented. Zack hasn't come out and publicly stated anything.
I'm not disputing what she's saying. I'm saying it would be nice to hear the context, because a lot have said there's been issues with that previous article, that she would not take something out when it was disputed, because she picked one source over the other.
No, but hold on. But what she's talking about, though, and the saying is like Zack Snyder removed Kiersey Clemens. All right. Yeah. And they're trying to put it on Joss Whedon. But in the article, it says that the cut that Zack presented to Joss did not have her in the cut. That's what the article says. And that was not refuted in the article by Zack responding to it, saying that my audience isn't going to like your wording of this. Okay. Now, would it require extra context? Because, I mean, look, we could break it down. Did Zack Snyder remove Kiersey Clemens from the cut of the film that he showed to Joss Whedon in 2017? If the answer to that question is yes,
then here, by the way, this is what
right. And this is the article. Okay. So it says here, the actress will reprise her role as Iris Rust, the romantic lead in The Flash. Clemens portrayed the intrepid reporter in Justice League, but her role was cut by director Zack Snyder back in 2017 before he turned the film over to Joss Whedon. So if Zack was cutting a 4-hour movie down and needed to keep cutting and cutting and cutting, that sequence with The Flash could be one that would be cut. Right? Now remember, Max, at the same time, people have tried to argue on multiple occasions Joss Whedon was racist for cutting out Ryan Choi and cutting out Cyborg's mom and cutting out the janitor and cutting out Kiersey Clemens. These people that Zack had cast and put in the movie that were minor parts that were going to be cut regardless. But because there was a 2-hour hard cut edict from the studio and Whedon had to make those particular adjustments, characters were removed. But this is telling us from, again, a person who has been in the game a long time, that Kiersey Clemens was already removed. And even Kiersey herself recently, when interviewed about this, was asked about like why she stayed with the project. And she was like, I just wanted to space. I'm paraphrasing, but from what I remember is she basically was like, yeah, they were going to work on it eventually. I was going to do it eventually. I was just going to see where it went. So Kiersey Clemens could have exited the property at any point in time, but chose to stick with it on the offset chance that she gets the ability to play the character completely. But even Kiersey Clemens is not sitting there and saying I was cut from the movie. All right. That I was, that she understands that this stuff happens. The problem here are emotionally charged individuals who either don't remember the facts over the last 5 years or choose to ignore them. And I say this to you as your friend, because you do this, you did this last night, and I understand where you're coming from, but I think you need to stop, take a day, go back to 2017 and just start reading and follow the thread. Follow it all the way through. and start to realize that these articles have popped up over time. These things have popped up over time. And then a lot of facts have been very much swayed and perverted by people like Mercury, who was coming out last night and trying to attack Tatiana Siegel. But he's coming out trying to attack everything. I mean, like, again, people who are running defense. Ray Fisher is doing the exact same thing.
People who know how to play the Twitter game and they know how to mobilize people to enact.
And the people, look, and here's the thing. And then you get useful idiots like CY Tiny Dick 98 here. Who is just a mouthpiece for morons, right? No original thought coming out of this individual whatsoever. And they run everywhere and they want to be a part of it because they want to feel like they're in the cool kids club. They want to feel like they're on the inside. But in reality, even though CY98 here is a person, he is as equivalent to a bot as one could potentially be. A mindless, thoughtless drone that will regurgitate whatever he's told to regurgitate. And that is a fair amount of the Snyder fandom on Twitter. And I implore anyone, go and follow the threads. Go and look to see when Geralt has his massive tweet threads. Look to see who is retweeting them. Look and see how many of the retweets are there without any quote tweets. And then look to see how many of those retweets accounts are new. Or all they do is serve to retweet Snyder-related content. And ask yourself, is that person an actual person, or is that person a bot or controlled by someone who is just using them to artificially boost the engagement on this post, which is another form of bottery. That is something to consider. The inauthenticness of it doesn't mean automated
we covered the bots
accounts.
too, but they didn't want to talk about too much. Basically, I was told a lot. I was crazy about the bot talk, and then that article from Forbes came out. It was very similar talking points. It's an issue online. It is an issue. It shouldn't be dismissed. But we're acting like this is just here. It's just an issue across the board.
Matt's articulation.
That's not crazy. You Zack off.
Remember, Dane. Zack Lives Matter. Okay, Zack Lives Matter.
Benson for a 10-pound super chat.
I'm saying the questions would.
Don't talk about the paying customer.
I think the relevancy with the bot thing is what comes into whenever we have these discussions about whether Zack Snyder's Justice League was a success or not. The only metric that Fandom can bring up that proves their point is engagement. Well, when we talk about engagement, what are we talking about?
You underplay it, they overplay it. I'm in the middle. As much as you guys think.
But let me make my point. This is what I'm talking about. This is why the bot thing is relevant. So we talk about engagement, right?
Relevant.
So if your only metric of your success is engagement, and then a lot of that engagement, 13% of that engagement is manufactured, then that diminishes your argument of engagement being like a factor in the Snyder Cut being restored, right? And it also takes in the fact that the
other 87 can't be ignored either, though. Yes, that is a factor.
Why am I being highlighted?
You consistently underplay.
I'm sorry, I probably clicked something.
Consistently hyperbolically say how successful it is.
Well, I need to get to the super chat. Benson for a 10-pound super chat says here, Fisher is a professional victim. The cult which surrounds him needs to be honest and say it's over. They won't because they can't handle being wrong about their hero. Brainwashed by a confirmed thief, Snyder.
I don't know that it's over.
I'm not come on, man.
No, I don't know what they're gonna do.
It's nailed.
No, I don't know what they're gonna do.
How's that 100 days working out for everybody?
Yeah, this is a great way to end that 100-day plan, huh?
100 days.
Great way to end that 100-day plan.
I want to.
CY98 here says Matt's a bit of an idiot. NGL.
Well, if you can't refute my claims, then I'm not the idiot. I can back up what I say with a lot of information. You just regurgitate whatever the fuck it is Sil tells you to. All right. So why don't you just get on your knees, open your mouth, and just let him fucking nut right there? Because that's all you're good for. You're just a fucking brainless cocksucker. That's all you are. You knuckle dragging moron. All right.
You want to let him on?
Yeah, let him on. Fuck it. I'll say it right to his goddamn face. I don't fucking care.
He's not gonna come on. He's not gonna come on.
See what? Is the official invite open?
If you can't look at this scenario and tell if you can't look
it does
at
not
what
look
that
good.
article,
No, it damaged everything. Yes,
it shows you. But let's break it down to brass tacks.
That's not total.
What
that's
did that
total denial? I said I'm not saying the nails in the coffin. It doesn't look good. There's a lot of hurdles. I just don't know what they're going to do. I don't know what they're going to do.
Oh,
People-
see
well,
what, if
that's-
CY's 21, then I'm leaving because no.
It's just gonna be me calling him a cocksucker, like, to his face. Like, that's
Well,
gonna be really about it.
Because I can't listen to his annoying Boston accent voice that is like.
Well, I'm just gonna keep it real though.
Just donkeys, go to donkeys.
Matt, it's just gonna
I
be
want
you.
to die.
I'm gonna pull all of us out.
That's
It's just gonna
fine.
be you
I'll
two.
yell.
No, never mind. This video, this stream, never. Sorry, CY. I retract. I lied to you. I don't want this
Well,
to get
technically, this is my
demonetized.
stream though. I could do it.
But let him come on. I want these people to have a voice and say, "Oh, this
I'm
silence."
CY98, and I
Can you do it
believe
without
not
swearing?
answer
Matt?
Let's see what they have to say.
No.
I can guarantee you
No,
exactly
you
what he's
couldn't.
going
No
to say. I'm
promises.
sure we can all parrot exactly what he's going to say. We all know what he's going to say.
We all know.
We'll say the same
Yeah,
thing.
Casey's right.
Can I stay? Can I stay?
Have we learned
and
nothing though from the last year? Every time there's a declarative
You
statement
put it in the chat. Oh my!
by the Snyder fandom, every time
We're
there's a
gonna
declarative
We're gonna
statement.
get lots of.
Wait,
Who's pissing?
Oh, that's me running my water.
Oh,
I wish
okay.
my stream was that strong.
I will say this. I am heavily disappointed
That's not
in
proven, Dean.
the actions of Zack Snyder as presented by that article, because I have said that it did feel for a long time that Zack was more involved than he lets on. You can tell by the fact that, like, Ohio Dave knew about the article. Dave, the film junkie, knew about the article.
He reached
Other
out to a lot of people.
And they knew the inside crew knew what was going on because Zack gives them the information. That's really
Which
bad.
again
even have to
only
be
proves
Zack.
the article right. It only proves the article right, which was so
That they
fucking
reached
stupid
out to
that
a
guy
lot
to
of
post-
people.
Kira
posted
says so.
DMs.
Clown Jarbo can. Oh, here we go. Okay, so I'm gonna take everyone out. It's just gonna be.
I'm
these
gonna
two.
be here to moderate. I'll be here to moderate. Hey, CY98. You have anything to say to Matt Jarbo in a peaceful, nice way?
Yeah, I would really just like to say that you know what? Why do you have such a hard on against Zack? That is my big question. Like, you're going out here saying all this nonsense like, oh, Ray Fisher's a diva. No, this is a man who was wronged by others.
Ray Fisher was wronged. I have adamantly said that. But make no mistake, everything that happened in the summer of 2020, even up to now, was coordinated. You cannot look at it any other way. Why would you think in an industry that relies on people being amicable with each other and not wanting anyone out there who really rocks the boat because it provides negative coverage, which can damage the brand? And these are multi-billion-dollar companies with multi-billion-dollar brands that employ hundreds of thousands of people across the spectrum. Why do you think that after the contract had been signed and the ink had dried on getting the Snyder Cut done, all of a sudden, magically, a month and a half later, Ray comes out and starts attacking Joss Whedon, Jeff Johns, and John Berg? Don't you find that to be a little bit suspicious? That here's Zack getting the opportunity to bring back this movie to elevate and amplify Ray Fisher's career, and here he is actively shitting on it?
So you're suggesting that Zack Snyder brainwashed Ray Fisher essentially, and that he didn't of his own free will choose to expose what Joss Whedon did because of his good-hearted nature.
Brainwashing, that's your word, not mine. No, it was a coordinated effort. What I mean by that is,
I know exactly what you mean. And
well,
by
let
the
me
way,
explain. Then let me explain it. Then
Let him finish CY98. Let him finish.
I do believe that there have indeed been some coordinated efforts. Like, this whole article was put out by design the night before the digital release of Zack Snyder's Justice League in an attempt to dissuade people from watching the movie by saying, hey, nobody really asked for this film, which is a big fat fucking lie. I mean, you don't get millions of
You're getting into
tweets
the other issues here.
that no one wants.
well, again, no one is saying that nobody wants the movie. That's not what the point of the article was. The point of the article, now the hyperbolic headline, I don't believe was necessarily reflective of what was important contained within the article. Everyone is focusing on the bots because that is something that they can shrug off. Well, I'm not a bot. I'm just, oh no, right? But the other parts of the article, people don't want to really engage with. They don't want to look at the fact that potentially a man who, and I have no issue with Zack for how he feels in regards to what happened. He clearly felt betrayed by the studio. He clearly was dealing with a lot of emotional distress at home over the death of Autumn. All of those things. And it over the years, it transitioned itself into frustration and then anger. And then where we're at now is the proliferation of meanness. That's the difference. You can be angry at Warner's and the old regime, but look at the old regime. The old regime was Kevin Tushihara, Jeff Johns, and John Berg, who were put in place following the disastrous theatrical release of BVS, of which Zack unfairly had all of that shit heaped upon him and never said a word because he's a company man. And that company man felt betrayed a year later. And so that company man then was able to influence by driving everybody to Vero, where he was able to create a very large echo chamber in order to push this narrative. Now, the narrative, whether it's real or not, and I do believe that it's real, we cannot overlook the documented, well-documented levels of harassment that a lot of people within the fandom have used to go against people who simply didn't agree. There has been this ongoing smear campaign against not only myself for just liking to troll people, other people who don't like it, anything somebody says.
Right, because saying the fandom wants to be the new Autumn is trolling.
Yeah, absolutely. The fandom, are you kidding me, dude? The amount of people that say Zaddy unironically, the amount of people that wait for the boss to say whatever it is the next step is going to be, right? The amount of people that dedicate their entire existence to that man absolutely want to be embraced by him as being a child. Now, my joke, I shouldn't have said Autumn's name, but my joke and my point stands very strong, and I've never wavered on that. These are people who want to be embraced by Zack. These are the people who felt jealousy and rage that they were not invited to Stone Quarry 2 weeks ago. These are the people that live on Twitter 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, doing nothing but tweeting restore the Snyderverse. And those accounts exist, which is why we have to ask the question, are they actually real people?
Yes, I get what you're saying. And while, yes, I do agree that I have seen some people using the term Zaddy, I think you're overestimating both the number of people using it and also how much of that is being done unironically.
A lot of it is done ironically, but when you start to look at some of these people, and again, it's a wide variety of individuals on social media that do this. It's not just on Twitter. It's on Instagram. It's on Facebook. It's on YouTube. It's probably even on TikTok. But there are so many people out there who have attached their identity to not only this movement, but this man. And this man is fully 100% aware of that. And he has, in many instances, absolutely trolled people to get them riled up to act on his behalf. The turkey image, 100%. Today, with that whole, if I retreat, kill me, if I die, avenge me, whatever the fuck.
No, neither of those things were trolls, because Snyder, he's always said that everything he posts has a dual meaning. He doesn't.
And a dual meaning can be a troll. I think again, what you're trying to look at here is this concept that something has changed in the last 2 years when it hasn't. And you're looking at things he posts.
Okay.
He's always posted teases. He's always posted.
Let's pretend that nothing has changed. Okay. What's your evidence?
My evidence are a litany of articles coming out from established Hollywood sources.
There are a lot of opinions.
Max,
a lot of industry opinions.
Everything is an op-ed. A lot of things are op-eds these days.
Yeah.
But if you really actually read the article from Rolling Stone, that was not an opinion piece.
I have read the article. Thank you very much for asking.
Sure, I read it too. We read it on stream last night. Read the whole thing. Took nearly 4 hours. But the idea here, though, is if you read the piece, Tatiana mentions her interaction really only one time over the Kersey Clemens article. But other than that, it was very much what people have told her. People that even today, when Ray Fisher denied having declined to comment, and the EIC from Rolling Stone came out, was like, that's bullshit. You didn't respond. That's still a decline. And then him trying to go, oh, well, you moved an hour on me. Oh my God, fuck off with that shit.
No, that is legit a problem of Rolling Stones. Like, there was no reason for them to move such arbitrary deadlines other than so they could vilify.
Yes. No, not vilify Ray Fisher.
Well-
An hour, 60 minutes, dude. Come on. And he didn't even respond anyway. She sent him a follow-up saying it's past the 5 p.m. deadline.
DY98, he didn't say he never saw the email. That is a bad look for him.
He did. And then even this, and let me ask you this then, if this was the big point of contention, if this was the massive point of contention that he has, demanding a retraction and an apology, why is it that last night his first response was to attack her over the Kersey Clemens article? It wasn't to come out and clear his name over declining or not declining to comment on an article. He immediately went on the attack and went after her for something she had said about Zack. And you're telling me it's not coordinated? You're telling me it's not controlled opposition?
No,
Come on,
it is not coordinated at all. He is just good friends with a man who essentially gave him his career, and so he's looking out for others before looking out for himself. He's a real life hero.
He's not. No, dude, he's an actor. Okay. He's an actor who, in my opinion, at this point, won't have much of a career working within Hollywood. And that's his own fault. That's his own fault. He could have gotten the justice. He didn't get the justice he wanted, but he got something. He got Joss Whedon fired. That was the serve up. That was the payoff.
Industry, when you have situations like this, they kind of meet in the middle somewhere, so it makes everyone look great.
Yeah. Do you know? Well, do you know how many actors, producers, directors sue studios all the time over profits? All the time. Lawsuits get flung around all the time. All right. So litigation in this industry is not something that's uncommon. What it boils down to, CY, is I believe you have a fundamental misunderstanding of how the industry operates. And that's not a fault of yours. That is the vast majority of people. So when someone like me or Casey or Caden, who have actually worked in the industry, who understand the industry, are talking about it, we're not coming at this from the perspective of like just to be a dick. We're telling you how things generally are. And that has been backed up multiple times by articles. The thing you have to consider here is why did the Snyder Cut get released? Okay. And this is a hot take, but you need to understand this.
All right. I'm willing to keep an open
It was not because of the fans. Now hear me out.
Okay. Before you can, I think I know where you're going to go with this, but I'm not going to stop you, but I'm just going to say, for the part where Snyder said they wouldn't have
a part of it
unless there was financial gain. Like, I'm paraphrasing obviously, but there was a part where he said that, and I do agree with that to an extent, that there was financial reasons behind releasing it.
Well, the financial reason was because someone like Jason Kilar is the reason why this happened. And a lot of people out there, especially those in the fandom, that were all up on him, loving him until the day the movie came out, and then the Sarnoff article came out, and then there was no other info. Kilar, man, like barely mentioned it again, right? But every one of his posts were just inundated by spam with people, to the point of where like a lot of people who worked for the company stopped engaging on social media as a result of this. But HBO Max was something that they wanted to do to compete with Netflix and to compete with Disney. AT&T is a telecom company. They wanted to introduce HBO Max as part of their plan in order to make the billions that everyone else does. So so when you think about it, what could they do that would be splashy? You greenlight $60 million at first to finish up this movie. That's cheaper. That's cheaper than many other original films that go on to Disney or Netflix or whatever.
Yes, and I get where you're going with that, and I do agree that was a smart tactic to get a lot of subscribers at launch. However, with Disney Plus in particular, heavily touting their original content for being on a similar scale to that of a feature-length film, I just find it mind-boggling that HBO Max wouldn't so much as consider the further long-term gains of giving more to Zack Snyder. I feel like there might have been a point where they did consider that, because to remind you, Snyder said that he had a new set of storyboards that he still to this day has not shown anyone. Why would he not show them unless there was something planned with them?
Well, because he also can't. Again, go back to the concept with him taking that hard drive and not returning it until after a settlement was agreed between the two parties.
Hard drive with the film he worked on and corrected.
But
right.
that doesn't. But yeah, and he says
I'm not
he was
saying it's not legal to do.
No,
I'm
he
just
can.
saying
Well,
he
claims
fixed it. Why would he want to give it back right away?
Well, the thing is though, but again, what we're talking about here is that he says he was contractually obligated to that footage for personal use. What he did during that time with it was start to leak out stuff from it that would not be considered for personal use. It was very much.
There was the settlement too.
Well, the settlement happened after we don't know anything about that. There wasn't any further exposition given to that.
Why would he give up the leverage? I mean, that's,
the leverage. Well, the movie was out. The movie was out, so he wouldn't. And they kept arguing about studio property. Exactly. There might be other things on there that we don't know of. And we probably will never find that out.
Technically, he hasn't given up everything from it because, to remind you, he still has that Green Lantern scene. Which why would they finally release the photo from it? Because again, if what you're saying is true, that everything of that film is now Warner Brothers property, why? A year later, would they release the Green Lantern photo unless there was something else in the works with it?
Okay, so let me break that down for you because I really think a lot of people misunderstand the context of that scene and the context of how it went down. Zack did not go through the union, the Directors Guild, the Producers Guild, the Screen Actors Guild, the Writers Guild, or the studio. He did not have a safety representative from the studio or from the union there to oversee COVID precautions. And Wayne T. Carr was not brought in and approved by the studio to play the character of John Stewart.
Nor was the shoot overall.
Yes, nor was it. Yes, Caden is correct. The shoot was done outside of the system.
Is union-wise and studio-wise is illegal. That shoot is illegal. So whatever footage he has from that shoot, even though like after the fact he like approved of the Martian Manhunter scene, the Green Lantern stuff is illegal, technically.
It doesn't follow union.
Caden, you hear what Carlos said though. Zack believed. I don't know if maybe he was not in the right thinking. Believed he was owed that footage. That was in dispute. That might have been in dispute with lawyers. Who knows?
Well, yeah, I mean, Snyder is owned that footage. I mean,
we don't know. See why we don't know for a fact. We don't know what his contract says, or I don't know all the details of the contract. I don't think any of us do. And they had a dispute and settled.
Based off of the article, he was told he can't shoot any additional stuff, and he was later approved to shoot the Nightmare thing as additional $13 million to the $60 million that he was already given to finish up the production and fix up the visual effects and reproduce the visual effects that was tarnished.
And then I want to add on to that. I want to add on to that actually, because you raise a good point that yes, Warner Brothers did approve that, but then that raises the question: if Warner Brothers really had zero, and Zack really had zero interest in continuing, why would they allow Zack to shoot what was essentially a tease for a sequel? Because when you remove the Nightmare scene and the subsequent Martian Manhunter thing,
I'm sure there was some like talk of like doing another special after that with a Nightmare thing. I'm sure there was like, okay, if this is big, but then again, you have the betrayal of Zack.
No, Zack said that scene was specifically created so Ben Affleck and Joker could interact because they were never going to get the opportunity to interact ever again. That's the only reason that scene exists. That's the only reason he added it. He said that himself. So that you can, if you want to fight with Zack about it, go take it up with him.
Yes, he said that in one interview. However, I think
he betrayed the studio.
Okay, one at a time.
But then he betrayed the studio, and
I'm aware that he said that in one interview. However, I am suggesting that maybe there was more to it because
no.
Snyder, due to his nature as a visionary filmmaker.
All right, well, let him respond, Casey. Let him respond.
There's no response.
Even though you think he's wrong, you're gonna have your chance.
This is what you guys do. You guys ignore facts, and then you come up with this. Well, here's what I actually think happened. No, the fact is the fact.
Let him speak.
No, that's not what I'm
saying.
Come on, man. No, that's not what I'm saying. Like, I'm aware.
You could be
that
wrong.
Snyder
Just
said- I'm aware that Snyder said that in one interview. However, given how visionary of a filmmaker that Snyder is, like, he had everything planned out akin to, you know, like George Lucas or something. So I think that Snyder may have had other reasons for shooting it that he didn't disclose to the studio, and rightly so, because he knew that they would try
Again,
to
not a
repurpose
fact.
something
Not a
else.
fact. That's you thinking something. That's you assuming something.
No,
that's
no,
you
no. This is backed
See
up.
why?
just said I
He let
think.
wait.
Literally said
See
I
why?
think.
He let you speak. Go ahead, Casey. Go ahead.
Literally said, I think this happened. Are those not the words that came out of your mouth?
You did see why. I mean, you could think that.
Okay.
Let's just
so
say it's
that
my
is your
opinion. Just say
thought.
it's my opinion.
That is not a fact.
It's your opinion.
fact
Just say it's your
It's
opinion.
what Zack Snyder said out of his own mouth. That is the facts that we have. You can think whatever fucking fantasy land you want to fucking think about, but those are not facts. This is what you guys don't understand. You take your ideas and you take what you think and you take your conspiracy theories and try to present them as a fact. They're not facts. They're your fantasy. So unless you have a fact to dispute what I said, you have no argument here. The scene was added to create a scenario where Ben Affleck and Joker could interact because Zack Snyder felt that was never going to happen. So he wanted it to happen. He was given the opportunity to make it happen. So he made it happen. Those were his words. It's not what you think. It's not what fantasy you created in your mind. It's not, well, he thinks about the future constantly. I think. I don't give a fuck what you think.
Obviously, we don't.
But okay, and going back to what I was saying about this whole thing, he has betrayed the studio's trust when he went on to go film something without the right protocols of the union being recognized and without the studio approval of using those two characters. And he had no union, which means there is no proper safety or protocols in place for those people to film there, for DGA, PGA, SAG, all those people. He didn't have the studio approval to film at all either, so there is no studio representative of safety and health.
So to clarify,
is a person from the studio who is to COVID test and do all the COVID precautions. It's what Tom Cruise paid a lot of money to make sure that his sets were COVID free and COVID safe.
Yes.
And Zack did not get approval from the studio to have that in place. So now the set that he filmed in could have been a COVID spreader. Could have been if there was an accident, if someone tripped on equipment, it would not be on the studio. It would be on Stone Quarry and Zack Snyder.
Yeah, yes,
So
I'm aware that it would be. I'm aware that it would be on Stone Quarry and Zack Snyder, but I don't think that Zack really viewed that as an issue, considering that he was willing to shoot the scene in his driveway prior to them approving.
It doesn't matter, dude.
It doesn't matter, dude.
It doesn't
Like, you
matter.
have
He
to
still
stop with this I
betrayed the
think
trust of the
bullshit.
studio. And
doesn't
if
matter.
I'm coming into this new studio and I see that he betrayed the trust and betrayed them and went back
That's
behind their
true,
backs and
but
filmed
they
something,
did
then I'll
first,
be like,
too,
no,
though.
I can't trust this guy. I can't trust him.
There's
So
a
why
lot
would
of
I want to work
betraying
with
of trust across the board. You
And the
have to-
Wayne T. Carr scene was completely designed by Zack to force the studio's hand, to force them to cast that part, to force them to put it in there because he did something out of fucking line, and he could have got the studio and himself and the actor in a lot of fucking trouble doing that.
The only trouble the studio would have gotten in from it was that now they'd have a good Green Lantern actor.
No,
dumbass.
no,
They would have got a ton of
no.
trouble with the fucking unions and contracts and lawyers.
Yeah,
This is what you guys don't understand. Like, you can't
It's
just
not
go
like
out-
even screen tests are approved
there
by the
are
studio.
there are some
So this
things
is
that they'd have to consider if they wanted to use it. But I think ultimately, don't we think they would have done it if they wanted to include it?
Shoot is illegal on the front of union. That so someone could have sued Zack over that shoot because
How about
they weren't
this?
paid.
Wayne T.
They
Carr
thought they
never
weren't
got
paid
paid for that
correctly, or
scene.
they tripped and fell. It's
parking
and
lot,
also and now it's bad rep on the studio. Even if the studio didn't approve of it, it's still bad rep on the studio as well. He did break COVID rules via production.
No, he really didn't.
Yes, he
Literally,
did.
behind the scenes, there is physical evidence in the behind the scenes.
It doesn't matter if you see
Dude,
people wearing
just because
masks
you
or
see
not.
people wearing masks
You
does
still
not mean
broke
they
protocol
broke
on
COVID
production
protocols,
level
bro.
because
Like,
the studio
stop.
did not approve of the shoot via COVID protocols, via the union, via the characters that he used. He, like, all those things are X's. He did
Every
not.
shoot,
He got
every
no.
shoot in
He got.
Hollywood.
Someone said no to him, and he decided to say, "Fuck you! I'm going to shoot this anyways."
Yeah, and he's a hero for it. We need more filming.
He's not a fucking hero for it at all. Oh
Well,
my God.
All right. Anyways,
here's the thing. I don't blame
here's the
him
part
for
you guys are
shooting
missing.
it,
Like,
but ultimately
no matter
it is up to the studio if they include it or not. You know?
no matter the
No, the studio would never include it. Like
Right.
he was trying. Look, here's the thing with the reason why he did it. He did it, and then he talked about it to leverage the fan base to bully the studio into doing it. Okay, because remember in the article they didn't want Martian Manhunter, but then Keelar was like, "Fine, Martian Manhunter's fine. Do what you got to do. That's okay." Okay. And he says again, like whatever they're doing with Martian Manhunter, clearly they haven't done anything else with. And I think since Supergirl was ending, it didn't really fucking matter to begin with. But with Green Lantern, we know that they want to do the Green Lantern Corps show, so there was obviously things in the work with that character. So they didn't want to have.
So it's going to be in an alternate universe anyway. So
That doesn't. That doesn't.
It doesn't matter.
That doesn't matter,
you guys have
dude.
not
Also,
figured out
it's
how
a-
Warner
All right,
Brothers
he's one.
DC
He's,
works.
he's one guy. Let him speak. He's
But
one
again,
guy against the panel.
But there's also one thing that people have to realize, that there are character embargoes that was introduced and set by Christopher Nolan. And guess who has a character embargo on Green Lantern? Of all Green Lanterns currently, Jeff Johns.
there are issues with
Jeff
the Jeff
Johns has
Jeff
a character
Johns,
embargo on all Green Lantern characters.
He owned. I don't understand the rights, but him and
I don't understand it either.
Skyver have some say in Green Lantern for some reason.
It's weird. I don't understand all that stuff, but Green Lantern, all Green Lantern characters are character embargoed by Jeff Johns.
Or
So
maybe
Jeff
John
Johns
Stewart
says you
does it,
cannot
though, I don't
use
know.
John Stewart. He legally cannot use John Stewart. So and
Well, then
so,
why didn't he just stick to the Kilowog and Tom O'Ray thing like the
because
original?
Kilowog and Tom Ray are also owned by a character embargoed by Jeff Johns.
They
as well.
might be. They might. Well, each character is different, but they might be as
No,
well.
he character embargoes the whole Green Lantern core and stuff. Like,
And you don't.
Yeah,
think
that's his baby. Like Green
and,
Lantern.
and you don't think that's a problem for him. You don't think it's a problem for one creator to have control over virtually.
That's just the way the industry works.
Oh my God,
So that's not really relevant.
It's not about creative control on the
Holy
character.
shit.
It's that if I'm going to Warner Brothers to pitch a Green Lantern thing, I have to go to Jeff Johns and say, hey, can we write this pitch together? I'm going to write a pitch about Green Lantern. I want you to approve of it so then I can go
Real quick. I was not anticipating you showing up, Saggy, but hello.
Oh no, I wasn't gonna miss this because somebody likes to talk a lot of shit in the chat. Somebody likes to talk a lot of shit in the chat and name drop people. So what's good?
Hey, Saggy, did you get my coffee?
Oh yeah, boss, I got your coffee.
Thank you. Appreciate that. All right,
Yeah.
great.
I never got coffee.
No,
Actually,
but no,
you
she
didn't know?
works for me, Max. She just tolerates you. There's a
Yeah,
difference.
no, because weren't you in the chat earlier saying something about that I was giving off some Garbo vibes?
Who? Oh, see.
You talking to me?
No, I'm talking to the other asshole who likes to run their mouth in chats. Yeah, no, of course I'm talking to you.
All right. Yeah. Okay. In my defense for that, I was more just being a smartass. I wasn't in sincerity trying to say that you.
I mean, you did say, and hold on though, you did say, and I quote, "Saggy, get Garbo's dick out your mouth" or something.
Oh, I didn't.
That is what you said.
I didn't know that. Ooh.
Yeah,
I mean, you've said a lot, CY, and here's the thing: I never had any issues. Like, I get it, you're a Snyder fan, cool, but like I've said many times, and I will say it directly to you: when I'm talking about toxic fans, if you feel like that's directed towards you, I don't know, maybe you're the fucking one I'm talking about. Because when I'm talking about toxic fans, the toxic people know who they are. If you're not toxic, don't listen to me. Don't worry about it. It's not directed to you. But for some reason, anytime I call out toxicity with my toxic ass, y'all out there seem to get personally offended. Y'all take it as a personal attack. It ain't about you, motherfuckers. It's about the ones attacking actors. It's about the ones being racist, attacking people of color. The real racists. The ones you think I am, right? When I say some ignorant shit, I say it to prove a point, but y'all motherfuckers don't listen because y'all about Zack Snyder. So let me make it very clear to you.
I'm waiting.
something happened. Give her time.
Y'all lucky my phone was ringing. Yes, I am toxic. Yes, I'm a toxic bitch. Yes, I'm a toxic bitch. But I target that toxicity to people who deserve it. And if you are not part of that demographic, shut the fuck up and let me do my thing. Because otherwise, you're just in my fucking way, and then now you're a target. That's what I'm going to say to all of you Snyder fans out there that want to sit there and call us the Scooby-Doo gang. If you are not the toxic part of the fandom, shut your fucking mouth. Let us do our fucking job and weed out the actual toxic people. Stop fucking defending toxicity and then claiming you guys aren't part of the problem. Sit down and shut the fuck up.
I don't think that anyone here is defending toxicity. I feel like more what's going on is that now this is at least my experience with it. I don't know if I obviously can't speak for anyone else who speaking up against the people who use the term toxic, but in my personal experience, I feel like when people use it, they're painting with very broad strokes.
See, that's why I love fucking popping off, because look at the chat. Y'all little dick energy right now. You guys can't handle a woman who is yelling at you. It's understandable. I get it. A lot of men out there pay big money for women like me to yell at them, but y'all ain't on that level.
I love it. Okay. I'm married.
But it's okay.
It's just the same guy, too. This Kal-El dude has been a dick in the chat the whole day.
No, Kal-El is a little bitch. Ooh, I almost said a gamer word. Let me stop. But this is what I'm saying. Y'all literally in the chat talking all this shit. I at least will give CY a little bit of credit. He came on the panel to deal with my ass. Y'all still sitting there typing away like little bitch boys in the chat. Trust me. Oh shit, that's a female.
Real funny.
I guarantee you haven't seen a vagina since you came out one, honey. Trust me. Guarantee you haven't seen a vagina since your ass came out one.
Okay, I'll give you that. That was a sick burn.
If you actually talk to CY90, see, here's the thing. This is just there are problems across the board. But if you actually talk to people on a panel, you get along better than just typing angrily in a chat. Like CY98, he seems like he'd be okay if you actually
real quick. We're bringing in Prime, who wanted to come on earlier. I'm sorry to bring in earlier, man, but welcome. Hello. Hope you're doing well.
Appreciate it. Just want to talk to everybody on the panel and everybody out there. Everything is subjective, and everybody has their own outlook. Now, everybody knows that there's a lot of touchy subjects. There's a lot of touchy things out there that people want to discuss. But always remember this. It has to be reals before feels. Get the proper information. You put all the information together, and then you draw your conclusion. The facts are all out there. So, and since y'all talking about this particular article, I would say that it is a hit piece. 95% of it is lies, and 5% of it is true. So,
but that's not factual. That's your opinion.
I mean, it's Rolling Stones, and not a lot of the stuff.
It's Tatiana Siegel, man. Nah, fuck.
Well,
stop saying Rolling Stone. Look at the person who's behind it. That's what you got to look at. This isn't like
you
just said. No, I'm not sipping for her.
There's a history there.
What all the facts and then make your own conclusions, and then said that this article is 95%.
Nah, I can't speak.
What are you talking about?
I can't speak for everybody else. Look, a lot of people did not read the article in its full entire. I did. Okay. A lot of people.
So, what exactly do you believe is 95% lies?
Well, first of all, the bot thing is what everybody blew up on.
Yeah, because it's been now discussed by multiple analytics companies.
Right, of course. Bots is all across all social media, but when they say 13%, you have to remember if it was all constructed by bots. Basically, this article, again, like I said, was a hit piece. Who constructed the actual air campaign to go over across the studio? Who set up the campaign to put in Manhattan? Who set up the campaign to put up all the ads and everything? That was the movement.
Well, can you link me then to that specific instance? I would love to see it. I would love to actually I'd love to actually see where that stuff is originating
I do know for facts that lots of people in the movement spent their own money.
I know people spent their money, but it's like I want to see all of that data. Right?
That's easy.
Well, then,
all that data is basically that. All that data is everywhere. You can go on to Snyder.com.
That's not an answer. That's for Snyder.com. I did. Hold on. They haven't posted since before.
I wasn't when somebody is on the panel. You should give them the utmost respect to let them finish what they're saying, and that's rude when you cut a person off.
Well, I'm asking. I don't feel like you're answering the question in a way that I think is worthy. But I'll finish it, please.
Okay, what I'm saying to you is that the information is out there. All right, the information is out there. So what I just stated was the campaign. For instance, in the article they said Fiona was not a real person, but Fiona is a real person because she was at DC Fandom with Zack, and she was part of the one that got the movement together. Let's make that first clear. With the bot situation saying that everybody was basically a bot, if that's only 13% out of 100, that means 87% of people are actually real. I'm going by what the article was stating.
No, for someone who said they just read the article, you completely misquoted the article already. When you're first
That is actually true. Yeah, you did.
You completely misquoted it.
Fiona,
I think you go back and read the article again,
Fiona was not accused of being a bot.
Well,
Fiona was.
Matt, on your stream, you said, "Is that actually Fiona?"
No, because
real quick, I just want to mention the thing that was brought up was the ForSnyder.com website and who was involved with it, and like
if she was really involved. It
was more so inquiring whether or not that website employed the use of bots, not whether Fiona herself was a bot.
And then saying someone else owned
Can
it.
we please stop talking for a woman who has not said a goddamn word in months about this? Like, yo, I'm sorry. I respect this woman, Fiona. I do. I've heard nothing but good things about her. But the thing that bothers me is like people speaking on her behalf. Like she hasn't said anything, and y'all are sitting here speaking of like she's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, y'all should stop speaking for her.
Well, she dipped out. She literally disappeared.
She disappeared because she's sick. She got sick.
Here's the thing, though. But here's the thing, man. She never actually commented on what she thought about the movie. She never did. She disappeared before it came out. ForSnyderCut.com hasn't even posted.
Did, and she said she hated it. So
that's a rumor.
Well, I mean, I've heard that rumor myself, but I haven't seen anything specific from her. Additionally, ForSnyderCut.com. Hold on a second. ForSnyderCut.com has not had an updated article since like January of 2020.
Well, did you listen to Prime said? I've heard that multiple sources have said she's not well. And honestly, the image with her and Zack on the thing, it's subjective, but she didn't look that well either.
But we're not talking about that. What we're talking about here is like the website in general. The website in general, which was supposedly created by her, run by her. It hasn't updated till, months before the movie itself was even officially announced. It never even commemorated the movie being announced. They dropped it in early 2020. So my question is why? And then all of a sudden, like at Fandom 2020, she pops up, but there's like the website itself never promoted it. The website never updated. So what's going on there? So the article
if she is sick, that could be a reason. I'm not saying it is.
But then talking about who owns it, whose its domain is registered to, an ad agency or a now defunct ad agency out of Los Angeles. And that's what they were. That's
for a little bit, and then at that time, that's where they saw that. Yeah.
Yes, and
that
what they were saying, and again, another security analytics person had said that the likelihood of this domain transferring ownership is very little. You know, because there's a record of these things, generally speaking. So it's
Dane. I'm not saying it's a fact. I'm saying that could be a reason. Yeah, there's
I'm
multiple
just saying,
sources. I'm not saying it's for sure.
If she is sick, I think the best thing people need to do is kind of just let her, rest and stop throwing her into things that she's not involved
but Saggy,
in.
She was run off predominantly because people were accusing her of being racist. That was a big thing that they talked about enough.
You can't come in this panel and claim the article is debunked and then immediately misquote the article as part of your evidence that it's wrong.
What is he misquoting, Casey, about saying she was a bot?
He's misquoting that she was a bot. Your main argument was nobody read the article. It's 95% wrong, and the first thing that you fucking bring up is you misquoting the article and being completely wrong about it.
Here, I've seen a lot of people in the fam say Prime. I think what the article, in my interpretation of the article, they were alluding to is she really responsible behind the SnyderCut.com, because when something lapsed, there was this other guy that had an
I can bring it up again.
I think that's what it's alluding to.
Let me actually read what was said and where her name was brought up. Okay.
It's unclear.
It's unclear who precisely is behind the site. 4 participants are listed there as its developers, including a self-identified fan and site owner who purports to be from China named Fiona Zhang. The site was originally registered using a privacy service in December 2017, where web registers Registration records show that during a brief lapse in the privacy protection from mid-March to mid-October 2021, a digital marketing consultant named Xavier Lanes was the registration of Snydercut.com. Okay, so that goes in the history of Xavier Lanes, who used to run a digital ad firm called My Agency, who promoted
it's
the use
alluding
of
that
bringing
she's
instant
more of
traffic
like
to your
just
website.
a face for it, and then someone else was actually behind the nuts and bolts of the website. That was
not that Fiona herself was a bot, which is not
right.
the
But this
article
is also to give the context. It's something that lapsed and was only available. We don't know. There's a lot of unknowns there. It's a lot of suggestion and opinion there. It for a short period of time it lapsed. This is the name it showed. It is strongly suggesting that maybe she wasn't involved, as the fandom actually knows that she was.
No, it's implying that she was definitely
It's
involved.
just the face for the site, and that there was some other stuff going on with the site. Is what right?
All right. Even though that's the case, at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, the movie is out. The movie is a fantastic movie. It's a better, and Warner Brothers and WarnerMedia doesn't exist anymore. This is why I say this article is full of shit. Some people might like it, but until you obtain all the actual facts and information that has been presented and out there over the years, I've been with the movement. I know every single bit of information. I know every single thing that Zack has stated, what has been put out there. I have been following it. This is a hit piece. You put a hit piece out on the day or the day before that the actual digital release is coming out to try to detract people on this article instead of just trying to go ahead and get it on a digital release.
Why would that detract people? Would bring more attention to the article.
Yeah, they've made more money as a result of that.
Hold on. And the lady, I can't pronounce. I can't actually pronounce the. I can't.
And the same talking points that all you guys.
Let him respond, Casey.
Over and over again.
Hold on. This is my last point. This is my last point. So the writer, if people don't know, she used to be with the Hollywood Reporter before she came to the Rolling Stone.
Here we go.
So she has always had it for not only the movement, but she always had an agenda back then.
What I say?
So
talking point.
Right.
So.
Wait, prove the agenda.
I didn't hear that from y'all. If y'all stated that prior, I did not hear that.
But prove the agenda. That's my question.
The agenda is that this individual does not have concrete information.
Where is that established? You are talking in hyperbole. You are not. You are using subjective opinion. I'm asking for information.
So the information that I'm giving you is this. You put out a hit piece on a direction that has already been abolished months ago. You're going with the. Hold on. Let me finish.
It puts everyone in a bad light. Again, you're.
Hold on. Let me finish. Let me finish. Let me finish. You're going with the old regime that was okay. I'll just do it quickly in the synopsis. You have an old regime. Those pillars that was in the actual board are disbanded. They're gone. Zaslav has came in, put in his whole team that he wants. Those people that have been problems at Warner Brothers at that time are gone. So this hit piece comes out on the day of this release. It's been months. Zaslav has stated things on what he wants to do. This digital thing is about data. The data and stuff is out there. Warner Brothers never wanted this to happen. Yes, it was a business decision to get HBO Max off the ground. We all know that. All right. If HBO Max wasn't available, we would have never gotten this. Period. At all. So yes, there are things that are out there that a lot of people don't understand the business aspect, but we got the movie anyway. It's a fantastic film. And a lot of people that was on the old regime at Warner Brothers are butt fucked. So with them being butt fucked, they're going to do everything to discredit anything because they got butt fucked. There's nothing that they can do about it. It's done. Now, the next step moving forward, will everything continue? Only time will tell. All we can do is tell. All we can do is wait for that.
Before we get to KC, there should be some consideration that a lot of the sources, well, I shouldn't say a lot because I don't have proof of that. The sources could be a lot of former WarnerMedia people that no longer have a job. So that should be considered, that they may be going on old info or they may be disgruntled. It can be. I'm not saying there's proof of that, though.
Just to ask real quick, did you consider that at any point prior, or are you only just considering that now?
No,
talking to me?
I'm saying that as to the panel.
I'm talking to Max about the idea that it could have been from disgruntled WarnerMedia employees.
There's no proof of that either, though. No proof either way. So and I still believe that this is a one side of an argument article. And that partly could be on Ray Fisher's fault, because who knows if Ray Fisher acted on that. I do have issues with Ray. I think he wasn't necessarily lying that he declined, but he never responded, and he didn't say he didn't see that email. So I do have an issue there. It does make it look bad if he, but he does. What would have gone a lot better, Prime, because I agree with you with your opinion that the author of this article, a lot of people in the media do not like Snyder fans. For reasons,
you guys,
because they were proven wrong. Sometimes they prove a lot of the bias, though, Casey, comes from the whole argument of it existing or not. So there's a lot of anger towards fans and people in the media to begin with. Since she does have a history with both Ray, Zack, and the fandom itself. I don't have all the proof here, but
well, so then you can't say that. Then you don't know that she has history, but that's not a negative. She's a reporter.
I do know for a fact about the last article, and I don't have all the concepts.
I've already explained
there.
this. Yeah. She's written articles about Harvey Weinstein and Bill Cosby and all these other shitbags fucking too. Where's the defense for them? Was it because she was just mad at them because they came after her over an article? This is ridiculous. Like the fact that you guys are like trying to like push this away because one time
I'm not pushing it away.
Zack
I'm saying there's a history there. It can't be
to remove a line from one article. All of a sudden now she's spent months on a fucking.
I'm not saying to just push it away or dismiss it. Treat everything seriously. I'm saying that there is a history there. That's all. I do know, at least from that previous article, that she would not. Maybe she was in the right to keep exactly what she wanted, but there was disputes on the last article.
Is literally right because of right now. What we're doing right now. The fact that you guys are all talking about this. The fact that the cult spent all day and all night and all this morning crying about the fucking article. The fact that every YouTube channel is doing a fucking thing about the article. That's why it was written, because they knew that it would generate clicks and revenue for them. Has nothing to do.
I was just about to bring that up. Good thing you brought that up. I was just about to say that.
I absolutely agree with that, but you can't be naive to think it doesn't have also. There could be other factors for the timing too, just besides clicks.
I definitely agree with.
There could be.
That, Max. That
I don't have proof of that, but there's still people fighting against Zack.
Yeah.
And who knows if Zack does have a future? I think it's too. There's a lot of hurdles. I don't know if it's possible. I don't know if it's possible, but the timing is not. Can you consider, Casey, that it might not just only be about the clicks? It might be some people that Zack and Ray were going after in the response. Rightfully so, they're responding this way, going through.
No, because I know how fucking articles work. I know that's not how they work. Like that's not,
you don't think that someone in the industry that does not like Zack and Ray, based on what they've done,
you guys should write this article about him. No, I think that they were
working
like,
with
hey,
someone.
We had this article idea. She went to a pitch meeting because again, let me explain how articles work for everyone who's never actually written an article in their life.
There's lots of ways articles could come out. I'm not stupid.
Not like this. This is an op-ed. This is an editorial.
You go to a pitch meeting and you say, "Hey, I have an idea for an article," and the editor goes, "Oh, that's an awesome idea. What's your plan for the article?" And she goes, "I'm going to interview these people. I got these sources. Blah blah blah. I got all this information." He's like, "Great, go get it." And then she goes and she does her thing and she interviews her people and she records her sources and she takes that information to her editor and he's like, "Hey, the great article. We're gonna double check all these sources. We're gonna call these people back, confirm that your quotes with them, all that stuff. Awesome." And in the meantime, we see that. Wait, hold on. Let me.
That's one way.
To fucking finish. Let me fucking.
No,
finish.
Max. This is. Oh my fucking god, dude. This is not geekositymag.com. This is an actual trade publication.
This is how it works at an actual.
First off, there's no need to give any negative press to Geekosity.
Oh, I have a lot of reasons to give negative
Oh
press
my God.
legosity.
Oh, don't
Believe
even
me.
No,
Believe me.
Stacey, I hear you out. I'm not doubting what you're saying.
Okay, but
I'm
let
saying
me finish. Can I finish?
You gotta
Then
let him finish.
I can finish. So you take all this stuff to your editor and you say, hey, and then they double check it, and then they go to lawyers and they say, hey, is this anything in here that can implicate us? And they're like, I don't know, let's call these sources and find out. So they call the sources and say, hey, did you actually say this? And sources are like, yeah, we said that. And they're like, okay, cool. And then it goes back to the editor and they're like, all right, what's the plan? What's the release schedule for this? When can we release this? Oh, look, the Snyder Cut's releasing digitally on this fucking date. You know what would be a real good idea? To release this article the day before or the day of that comes out, and then we could monetize off of the hype for that, and we could use the momentum for that to roll into this article, and everyone will fucking be talking about this article, and we'll get all the Snyder bots angry and talking about this article the day before the release of the digital version comes out, and then we can double down and we can double dip on this shit, and we can make a fucking ton of product off of it. You guys got pulled into their marketing ploy.
I agree. That's a huge part of it. Have you ever been? You have sources in the industry when you were Scooper, KC. Have you ever had someone say, "Can you cover this topic?" Reach out to you.
Have I had articles pitched to me? Yes, I have.
Exactly.
But not
so.
From
what
scooping.
you said is completely accurate. That's a lot. That's a lot how the articles are written. But there's sometimes industry people could pitch you one.
Stop. You're misconstruing.
You gave an opinion the way you think this article was written.
You're misconstruing what I just. You're misconstruing. An individual who may or may not work at a studio who contacts me and says, "Hey, I have a source. I have a scoop for you. Do you want to write an article about this?" is much different than a studio or Jeff Johns or a producer saying, "Hey, I have a piece for you. Here's all the shit that you went down. Let's write an article about this to get back at this guy." Those are two wildly different fucking things. One of them happens every day. One of them maybe happens once in a while, but it's completely unethical, and you would never fucking do it. So, like, again, this idea that a bunch of executives or disgruntled executives called Tatiana and was like, "Hey, we got a hot story for you. This is gonna be great. We're gonna take down Zack Snyder together." That's bullshit. That's just bullshit.
Well,
she may have had one source. She may have had one source that contacted her and said, "Hey, this is what happened." And then she's like, "Okay." And then she took that information and she expanded on it and got more information and more sources and did what a journalist does. And she went after and talked to people and interviewed people and researched the thing and went and got data analytics and went and talked to researchers and did all this other stuff, just like you would do for a college midterm or a college research paper, right? You're not going to just go in there and fucking turn in whatever that comes off the top of your head. You're going to research and have evidence to back it up. And then she presented that to her editors, and they all had to back up that information. This isn't some guy getting a text or a DM from some random guy he's never met in his life and then taking that information and putting it on their website. That's not what this is. Those are two wildly, completely different things. So don't try to make them the same, because they're not.
No. I mean, like, there is valid reason to think that yes, it was done by.
Stop. With this valid reason, and this I think, and this maybe, and my theory is I don't care. That's bullshit. Nobody gives a fuck.
No. Okay, remove the I think. There is valid reason to believe.
What valid reason?
All right. Well,
what evidence do you have?
The history of what WB has done to Zack in the past.
Yes. That for starters.
And I'm not suggesting that when someone pitches you from the industry that they tell you your opinion of it, but they could say we want this covered or reach out to you, or we do have a source. I'm not suggesting that something that nefarious. But people,
like I'm suggesting that there's that, and you also have to take into consideration again the fact that all of this information is from WarnerMedia, not Warner Brothers Discovery. So by that account,
we don't know that for sure.
Dude,
why
stop.
not?
Yeah, we also don't know that.
The WarnerMedia information is from the reports they got from WarnerMedia when WarnerMedia conducted these investigations and analytics. That's where that WarnerMedia comes from. Doesn't matter who was in charge. Doesn't matter. That's irrelevant.
Yes, I get that it's coming from a time when WarnerMedia was in charge, and that just further begs the question: why do it now? Why not do it when you actually conducted this shit?
Because they also needed because they probably also, this is probably new to Tatiana, and also you have to, like Casey said, you have to vet. You have to. You have to.
So what? She's fine covering stories about sexual predators and rapists, but when it comes to film directors, it's a problem. Give me a break.
Well, okay, like Casey said, you have to vet your stuff when you are sent something. You have to vet it, and then even further vetted by your editor-in-chiefs, and they are vetting their stuff too. And then when you vet stuff, you also reach out to Red, you reach out to Zack, you reach out to the current regime if there's anything that they would like to add that they found out currently, or if they have any quotes to say right now. And there was a spokesperson that was talking about the bot situation and the cybersecurity, and they said that was before our time in leadership, so we don't have a comment about that. So that was what their comment on it. But they were most likely sent the full article to at least say anything they need to say about anything on that article. So to say that this was out of the reach of the current regime is a false statement.
It's not a false statement because while
It is a false statement because, like I just said, they would have to vet it.
It's not a false statement because while yes, they could have provided a comment, there was nothing that was stopping them from retracting the statements of the old regime. So through that nature, yeah, it's a hit piece that was done, and they deliberately waited until now to.
Okay, so if it's a hit piece from the old and the new regime, do you think with your statement just now, do you think with the information that we are given in this article, no matter what other, like if you CY98 were to, CY, me and you are directors.
Okay.
I directed a film.
Right.
And it's, it's whatever status is in. And then you come in and have your director's cut of a movie.
Right.
And it's released. And then now my movie is also about to release in a couple weeks. And your fans decide to review bomb my movie. And I reach out to my representative to reach out to you or whoever to reach out to you to tell your fans to stop. And you tell me no. How do you think I would feel?
I'm not saying that Adam Wingard didn't feel disappointed when Snyder said what he did. However, Snyder's response.
Is there an actual quote about what Snyder said? Or, like, this is all hearsay too. I have concerns about it though. I'm not dismissing.
Hey, just FYI, we're gonna wind this stream down in about 10 minutes.
I'm pretty sure the article had an exact quote that Snyder gave of how he can't control his fans, which is true and a legitimate argument. Like, I don't doubt that Snyder wanted to try and shut down the more toxic side for the sake of Adam Wingard because yeah, Godzilla versus Kong. As much as I prefer Zack Snyder's Justice League over it, I don't think that film deserves the flack that it got.
Okay.
Well, real quick, let's
now
read this.
also,
real quick, I want to read this real quick. CJH Canadian $5 super chat. Thank you. Question for Jarba: what was the percentage of finished footage of Snyder Cut was there before Snyder filmed new content for the Snyder Cut?
Well, finished footage? I mean, like a lot. Well, it was raw footage. Keep in mind, he tinkered with, like, he put together his cut, but it wasn't finished. So he needed the money for post-production. So I can't tell you. What the percentage is.
That does not surprise me whatsoever. That the clown table over there is laughing this off and acting like there's nothing going on. I'm not shocked whatsoever.
My estimate would be for the cut is that everything before the extra footage at the end, the nightmare sequence, was probably filmed but not finished CGI and special effects and light.
And hey, guess what? By the way, we have way more viewers than them, so. Suck it.
Well, look, I mean, we know that those guys are on their own little world. They have to be. They have to be in their own little world.
No. Having been
money did he got 60 million, right?
I can say that they really, really aren't.
Are you? I mean, I'm legitimately gonna. Are you kidding me? Like, dude.
No.
Like, have you ever just listened to Syl downplay? Like, he was like, I'm not gonna read the art. I'm not gonna do it.
He did.
Just runs from it, man. Like, they
No,
run
he
and they
covered
block
it,
everybody.
but yeah.
Okay. First off, yes, I acknowledge that he didn't want to read it. However,
stop, dude.
I know.
Why are you? I have a question. Why do you feel?
Well,
the
there's
need
a
to run-
history of this.
No. Let me ask you this: Why do you feel the need to run to Syl's defense as if he's like truly your friend? Because he's not.
I know that he's not my friend, but that is not the reason why I am running to this defense. I'm running to this defense because, well, Max, you said it best in that video where you covered Casey's breakdown of the crisis event thing following the flash screenings. You said it was your humble belief that in this scooper game nobody knows shit. And so if nobody knows shit, there is no reason to prop up one side and drag down the other side.
But why do you only? Well, then why do you only prop up?
I think Casey
never
acts
actually
like
represent anybody else.
Casey can
hold on.
act like an
Let me
authority on
ask this.
certain topics.
Why is it that
He's
you
also
only
a
prop
scooper
up
as well.
and you very clearly are in Syl and Mikey's camp, but you never seem to actually care to listen to any other side or actually like support other scoopers?
Well, don't say that to him, RJ, with him being here. At least give him credit for being here.
I give him credit for being here. I'm asking the question. I'm allowed to ask the question, am I not?
Yeah.
I'll ask a question. What are you gonna do when there's no air cut announced this year? What's gonna be the excuse then?
I said I'm gonna give Mikey and Syl an L on that if it doesn't happen.
But again,
pretty
that's
vocal
their
on
whole
it.
platform. That's their whole platform.
All right,
That's going to be bad for them. They can only go.
That they know shit.
If it doesn't happen, they can only go with that so long.
All right, fine. Fine. I can comment on that.
Thank you, Geek Getaway, for the $2 super chat. 100-day plan. Believe the plan. Stay strong.
It's the blueprint.
Casey, I can comment on that AO cut remark and believe me, I am holding myself to this. There have been countless streams where they've said, "Oh, we're expecting some kind of Snyderverse announcement this year," but I am going to say this right now: if there is nothing of the sort before the end of the year, I will take the L for believing.
That's not what I'm asking. Are you going to stop following them and parroting them and pretending that they know everything? That's what I'm asking you. Are you going to give them an L? Or are you going to stop this bullshit charade where they act like they know shit? Because they don't. They don't know anything. They don't have sources. All of their articles.
Well, you can't say that because they can say about.
No, Max. No. Everybody in the industry literally calls out Syl and Mikey for being total clowns. Every other person in the industry respects.
There's a lot of clowns in the industry. Everyone's full of shit.
They don't know shit,
Everyone
Max.
has
That's the
sources.
point.
You
They
don't
don't
know
know
if they're good
shit.
sources.
They don't know shit. They don't know shit. They never knew shit.
They
They're a bunch
steal
of liars
articles,
and
they
con
steal
artists.
shit from Reddit.
They said Emmerich wasn't going anywhere.
Am I going to get to talk or not?
Yeah, sure. Sorry.
So they steal articles, they steal shit from Reddit, and then they put it out to their fan base because their fan base, they know their fan base is a bubble. They admitted it. They know their fan base doesn't follow those people, and so they use those articles that are credible, that do come from credible people. They take them as their own, and then when they are right, they claim them as their right to build credibility. I caught them in this twice. Twice I caught them doing this. So what's his name?
Now let me ask you this
Give the
question.
receipts. I'll cover that, Casey. Send me the receipts on it. I know it's too hard to bring up now.
Matt, you saw it.
Okay.
I want to see the
Charles Murphy
receipts.
put out an article. All right, am I gonna?
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah, I know exactly what
Charles
you're
Murphy put out an article on like the end of March.
Charles wrote an article on Echo, Daredevil, and Kingpin connections.
All right,
and
Charles wrote an article at the end of March saying that Daredevil and Kingpin were going to be in Echo, and that's what's going to happen. 3 days later, maybe 4 days later, maybe 5. We'll give it a week. A week later, an article comes out on Geek Oscillate saying, "Oh, Daredevil's back in Echo." I wonder where they got that idea from.
Is it possible they both have a source?
But it was a copy and paste
No,
of
they
the title.
literally stole the article, Max.
Yeah, there was a copy.
You don't
and
know
paste
that
of the
for
title,
sure.
and
I am willing to entertain the possibility that they may have a stolen article could have happened. But first, I just want to say two things. Like first, to go back to like the AO cut thing, I am going to open myself up to other stuff if by the end of 2022 nothing happens AO or Snyder related. or Snyder related. So yes, I will open up to other stuff if nothing happens by the end.
5-minute warning, everyone. Closing thoughts, RJ. If it's your show, I apologize.
No, it's fine.
Blue Jay wanted to
thanks
say
for coming on. I
something.
appreciate it. Do you want to say anything before we get you out of here?
I just wanted to say, since this is closing thoughts, I'm sorry if my comments in the chat came on as too headstrong.
Yeah, CY90, you seem like
I
but you
appreciate
should
you
really be careful
apologizing.
about how you talk to females. That does not reflect good on Zack either, because you are his fan. I would, I think you're a good person. What he said to Saggy in the comments section.
Yeah, no, don't get me wrong. I mean, we all treat Saggy like shit,
really
but we like her. But it's
Zack,
nothing to do with Zack. What? Come on, man.
I'm saying.
Come on.
I'm saying.
Come on.
No, I'm not. I'm dead serious. I'm saying to
come
fans,
on, Karen.
You just said earlier that I don't call out fandom enough.
Dude, but you're calling out the individual for what the individual said. By trying to associate it with Zack, you're feeding into the bullshit you've been fighting back against this entire stream. Oh my god.
If you want to carry Zack's name in your hashtags, you're a Snyder fan, please consider what you do. Yeah.
But
if this whole article is
hold on, and I'm defending him here. I'm defending him here. Because he was like, he told Saggy, hold on, wait. Didn't you say to Saggy like she
bad and toxic and stuff?
She was riding my dick, right? That's basically what you were saying.
You could get Garbo's dick out your mouth.
Yeah. Oh well, okay. Riding it from one orifice or the other, I guess. Whatever. Okay. But that has nothing to do. That's got nothing to do with fucking Zack Snyder, dude. Jesus Christ, man! Like fucking don't pull that the fuck. I hate that shit. Well, you're a fan of Zack, and it just reflects poorly. No one here gives a fuck for one. So just call him out for saying like. Don't just call him out and say like, don't say it. Just don't say that specific thing because it makes you look bad. But trying to equivocate it to Zack is just like adding on something that doesn't need to be there. It's a Karen move. Do you want to talk to his manager while you're at it? I mean, like, is that how Zack is in this case?
Okay. I am sorry for starting this.
It's just ridiculous.
Right. We're talking about the fandom and how they should be better. What do you want me to do?
Fucking treat the person like a person, man. If he was here saying like Zack Snyder says to get Garbo's dick out your mouth, then that would be a different scenario. But he was like, he just said it like that. So just treat it like a shit talking. All right, like there's no need to equivocate it with Zack Snyder. It just that comes across.
That was all I intended it to come off as, but that still doesn't justify it. So I was trying to make up.
Sure, no, fine, but like don't just come back. Like, you were fine, CY. Like we get it. It's all good. Max, though, come on, dude. Just come on.
All right. Well, thank you for coming on.
I take everything seriously when all my friends say you don't call out the bad stuff.
Okay. Blue Jay wanted to say something before
we need to end the stream. We need to
I'm the one that called out this thinking carrying the heads. What the fuck? I'm so sick of this.
Also, Blue Jay wanted to say something before we end the stream. So Blue Jay, say what you need to say really quick.
I don't want ladies that come around to hear that from someone that calls himself a Snyder fan.
Okay.
You have no fucking control over that, though. You literally. What kind of? Hold on, man. You can't sit there. You cannot sit there as a person. Okay, you can sit there and say, "I don't want them to be said that or hear that," and that's perfectly fine. But then to go as a Snyder fan, the fuck, dude. The fuck
I'm telling everyone to realize what their actions do because this is why this article even fucking exists, bro.
But it's just, oh my god,
just like the heads carrying the heads of executives, where I said that's not good.
That was very specific to people who work at Warner's.
That although yes, like someone can use CY98's association as a fan of Zack in that moment, but you don't have to perpetrate that.
You wonder why
statement though. But you don't have to perpetrate that.
Giving an example.
You can just. But you don't need to. You don't need to.
Oh, I honestly think I do based on what you guys have been putting me through. Yeah, and then get Ashley. I'm saying I can't believe this reaction.
It's let's just everyone calm.
Okay. So I want so.
You like your Switch?
I love my Switch. Thank you, Max. Thank you for the Switch. I love it. I love it very much. Yeah, thank you very much. If y'all play with Mario Kart, I don't fuck around. But so I've been listening to this stream. I was like, okay, it's cool to be on the stream, but I don't want to interrupt anybody. So I would just sit there and be like, I love the chaos, but then just but this is my. I'll say one thing about this stream.
This is the coolest thing I have ever seen.
That's it.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that.
No, literally, I was just like, okay, I don't know how long the stream was gonna go, and I don't want to interrupt anybody.
Being 3 hours, but here we
I
are.
didn't want to interrupt anybody, so I know Casey was going off, Saggy was popping off like always, Java was going off, you and Max were going off. I was just, I mean, I want to say something, but I don't want to interrupt anybody because although I do like a little bit of drama, so that's just me. But
well,
you know,
thank you for stopping by, Blue Jay. I appreciate it. Hey guys, if you
cool.
want to watch a complete shit show with some liars and con men trying to deflect in this article, go watch the Still Abdul channel as they're live right now.
And then be sure to read geekositymag.com to follow up on the bullshit.
Geekosity sucks. That's my opinion. So
this is the coolest thing I have ever seen.
All right. How
Dane,
do I follow
Dane,
Casey? Casey is Casey Walsh on Twitter.
Yeah,
right?
I'll send you his info, Dane.
You should get some sleep, Max.
Yeah. Real quick too, even though they are streaming, like please be polite over there if you go over there and watch their stream.
Most of you are probably already blocked.
Even go over there. We need to stop using their names. We need to stop using their websites. Just call them they or them. Like, we need to stop. This is what they want. They want our attention. They want us to talk about them. Like, I don't even know their names anymore. Like, I don't even think about them. Like, I try not to even say their fucking names out loud because that's exactly what they want. That's what keeps them fucking going. And again, my kind of last point about this whole thing is that I want people, if you're gonna take a good article from THR or Rolling Stone and take what they say and like what they say, or if it's positive in your narrative, and then you're gonna come back and say, oh well, this article is negative in my narrative, so it's fake news. Like, that's my problem with this whole situation. Is you gotta take the good with the bad, and we gotta stop playing this like, oh, if it's not what I want to hear, then it's fucking fake. It's not real. It's made up. It's a hit piece. Like, that's bullshit. Like, stop. Like, these aren't fake articles. These aren't fucking hit pieces. They may be like timed appropriately or timed to market themselves appropriately, sure, but like, they're factual. So like, there's facts involved. So we need to start like accounting for the facts and stop pushing them aside just because we don't like what they say. And that goes for scoopers and anything else as well. Just because you don't like what someone's saying doesn't mean they're fucking wrong.
Yeah. No,
you need evidence to back that up.
No, I think that's very well said.
You need credibility. Another thing I really hate about this whole article thing is that everyone's attacking a credible journalist who's been doing this for a decade, probably. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, stop it. And you're taking a credible journalist who has went through checks and balances and been doing this for decades. You're diminishing their opinion, but propping up the opinion of some contributor in an opinion piece as the factual one. Like, stop. It's ridiculous. Like, if anything, take all the information and make an informative opinion about it, but don't try to discount one or the other. Like, and again, if I'm doing that, if I'm discounting something, then let me know. I'll I'm not discounting. I'm not trying to discount the Snyder Cut movement or the fact that, yes, you guys are good at social media. Your guys' engagement is super high. You do have a lot of people, a passionate fan base, but that's not enough sometimes. That's not enough to get things done. It's not. And maybe one day you guys will realize that, and you'll actually like support Netflix and what Snyder's actually doing, and stop living in the past trying to get him back into a toxic environment and a toxic situation just to appease whatever fantasy you have about some fucking superhero bullshit.
And then to kind of
that was a lot of final statement.
Well, I haven't had one yet, so I agree with KC. Here's the thing: Zack being in that toxic environment has made Zack a worse person. If you look at the article, which I do believe Zack was very much making threats, I think Zack used Ray Fisher to get that out there to start that whole process. And I think that there was quite a number of people behind the scenes that were financing this. And there's been some very interesting revelations on that front if you pay attention to some of that shit. But my theory is that Zack has become angry and bitter and cynical, and he knows exactly what his fan base will do. And he is okay with it, because it serves his interest, not the fans' interest, his interest. And that is toxic. And that needs to be called out, and that needs to be treated. So if the fans are getting their marching orders from someone, they're getting influenced by someone, they all look up to Zaddy. So figure it out.
Yeah. No, well said. Real quick, Anthony Beltry for $1.09 super chat. Thank you, Anthony, saying #cancel Caden. Here's your cookie. Everyone
Cancel
go get
RJ.
yourself. Everyone go get yourself a cookie. Thank y'all so much
Well,
for
'cause
watching
I'm
the
a
stream.
I got Oreos, so I'm fine.
And
I'm a diabetic.
All right.
Well, go
It's
get
good to
your
be on the
diabetic
stream.
cookies and go enjoy your
Get
nice dinner.
your-
I gotta go make dinner, so I gotta go. Thank y'all so much for watching. Much love, and we'll see you guys next time. I guess I don't know if Matt and Max are streaming tonight, but I'm sure they.
I'll
will.
be on tonight. Yeah.
I
Of
was
course.
going to stream. I just didn't get my nap in yet, so I'm kind of cranky.
You're always cranky. All right, goodbye, everybody.
Yeah.